and I see a lot of hoopla. There's chatter about how they want to pardon, Derek Chauvin and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Blah blah blah. I mean, I don't even know where I'm going to go with this, but
Well, so let's let's do this because I mean, you listen. Those are some great topics, and I definitely want to get into those. But I want to stick to where we are at the back on the background at the moment.
okay.
Any chance you know what we're referring to with anything on the background?
Yeah, I do.
Do you,
Habeas corpus.
okay, well, yeah. I'm talking about specifically like, okay, cool. Let's get into it. Hold tight for me just a moment. All right, guys. So we're gonna get started. We're gonna get started. So I want to start with Chris. Actually, Chris, I want to
Yes,
start with
sir.
you.
Yes, sir.
So, Chris, help me understand. What are your thoughts, right, with looking at the items on the background? Because the background specifically, it does not call out any specific party, right? And
Don't get mad, nigga. Go get even. Sometimes you just gonna have to take it there. Nobody gets to piss you.
I have no. Happy Memorial. I know it's with good intent, but it's not for us. It's for the ones left.
you're right. You're absolutely right.
But I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I know the intent as well.
Yeah. Chris, let me ask you this question, right? Specifically, right? Um, knowing that you're a vet, knowing that you're someone that served our country, knowing that you are someone who, on this day, like you said, you're taking time and you're reflecting on those friends, those loved ones, those people close to you that you actually lost, right?
Yes, sir.
Understanding that, and then understanding that the United States is now becoming a country where other countries, we used to be the envy of other countries, right? We used to be the country where people say, like, this is where you want to go, this is where you want to be. What are your thoughts with other countries now warning their citizens, like, hey, be careful traveling to the United States?
I mean, I think that's. I mean, I don't know what to think about that. I know, even during after 9/11, we were the country's envy, right? We were the world's envy. I'm sorry,
Mhm.
but I mean, we honestly went where we went and lost people we lost under false pretenses, in my opinion.
Right.
So, um, I mean, that's a whole other topic. But even though we were the world's envy at that time because we were standing up, we were standing on business, I guess you would say.
Mhm.
But I mean, were we really standing on business that makes sense? I mean, that was Bush trying to finish off what his daddy didn't finish. I mean, and I don't mean to derail your lives. You can kick me, but
You're good, Chris. You're good. We're talking.
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, well,
But
Chris, you know the
yeah,
difference. Again, I know this layout looks a little bit different, but you know the difference between late nights and sparring. So
yes, sir.
that's
Yes,
that's
sir.
where we are. Okay, give me a second here. I want to come back to Dean. Dean, um, you mentioned because the thing that caught your attention was the cuts to trillion, and you specifically said, "Do I think the big beautiful bill will pass?" Well, before I answer that question, Dean, do you think it'll pass?
My heart says no.
Tell me why.
It's going to hurt too many people.
Hmm.
And I'm hoping they have the empathy for the American people for it to
Mm-hmm.
not pass. I mean, it only passed by one vote.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm just hoping it doesn't pass. I mean, it's going to hurt millions of people.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand the part about Medicaid. Now they have a lot of deadheads.
What's the part about Medicaid that you understand?
What I understand about Medicaid, they want to cut it is because they have a lot of young men and women that are able to work, but they're living off the system. They're taking the easy way out. So we got to weed those out. And I mean,
Can you tell me
Do you
about
let
that?
them starve? I don't know. I don't have the answer.
Can
And
you-
talking about veterans, I am a Vietnam vet myself.
Oh, thank you for your service.
It was an honor.
Wait, so you said that there's a lot of people living off the system, and basically that you need to wane them off. Can you give me any specific examples?
Okay. Unfortunately, I have two relatives in a homeless shelter, and I visit them. I bring clothes that are in good shape to the center. People can use them. But I go to the recreation room, and they're just sitting there, doing nothing, where these able bodies could be working. But they choose to live off the system. I think it was Clinton. It's not a way of life. It's not. I don't remember the quote, but it's not a way of life to live off the system.
Okay. Yeah, I do agree that quote unquote that it's not a way of life to live off the system. I do think that there are certain situations where we do see that there are people that actually manipulate the healthcare system as far as being able to utilize Medicaid. But I think overwhelmingly, you see more people who need that assistance, right? And when you talk about this bill, I don't think that it does anything to necessarily improve the process or, to really help people in the sense of, okay, this is a better way to target, but it specifically targets people who need this type of assistance to continue to do things like take care of disabled loved ones, right? And so I do think that there's a understanding and a need to actually improve who's able to get access to these social safety nets without actually cutting the social safety nets.
I don't follow you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just basically, I think instead of actually just saying we need to go ahead and get rid of all of this, put more energy and effort into reforming those things instead of just saying get rid of them. Because
well said.
Because when you do something like saying, well, if you're quote unquote able body, then you shouldn't qualify for these social safety nets. Well, again, it specifically targets people that I just mentioned, the people who take care of people who are not able body, and they need that because they can't do normal 9-to-5s or whatever.
But do you agree there are individuals who are able bodies to be able to go to work, but they refuse not to? They're panhandling at the end of a road, at the end of a grocery store, and that's their work.
Well, so Dean, I say this, right? I think that it's really kind of it's kind of short-sighted to think that we understand whatever situation that everyone's dealing with, right?
That's true.
And so for us to sit back and say, yes, this person, oh, you look young, you look strong, you look like you should be out working. You don't know what has actually happened with certain people to put them in that position. And it's a tough situation to be able to judge someone. And I think more than judging people, we need to help people, right? And the one thing that I do know for sure is the one reason that I'm like a huge advocate for universal health care, understanding that having universal health care will actually raise my taxes. And it's not something that I personally need because I have access to really good health care. The reason why I am a huge advocate for that is because, one, I think healthcare is a human right, right? But also too, I understand that healthcare debt is one of the leading, if not, I think it is the leading cause of houselessness in the United States. So people get it so far behind in certain forms of medical debt that it forces them to lose their homes, to lose their livelihoods. It puts them in a really bad position. So saying that, oh, just because you can work, or oh, just because you should be working, you shouldn't have access to those things, I can't agree with that one.
Well, I have a problem with the system because my wife had a stroke.
Mhm.
It'll be 2 years in June.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I went to Medicaid to help with my bills.
Mhm.
But since I had a good job, I made too much money and I didn't qualify. So they recommended or suggested the Affordable Care Act. Affordable Care Act, heck, I mean, it's over $450 a month.
Hmm.
In the meantime, I had to buy the wheelchair ramp. I had to buy the wheelchair.
Mhm.
I mean, it put me in major debt. And
You firsthand right there, Dean, you completely get what I'm saying. Like that.
Dean,
oh, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
did I not say
But
Dean?
my point is, they couldn't help me when I need the help.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dean, can I ask Dean a question?
Sure, go ahead,
Please.
Chris.
Dean, I'm not trying to be personal, but do you mind if I ask what income bracket you're in, like a range? I'm not asking how much you make. But
No,
do you mind
right
if I
now
ask?
I had to quit my job. I'm 72 years old. I wanted to work till I was 75, but with my wife having a stroke, I just retired.
Absolutely.
So
of
I'm living
course.
off Social Security right now and my disability from the Navy.
Understood.
What
So at that income level, do you still not qualify? Is your wife at full retirement age? Is she able to get Medicare?
My wife will be 65 in April,
Okay.
and then she'll qualify, hopefully, or she will qualify for Medicare versus Medicaid.
All right. I'm sorry, Santana. Go
no,
ahead.
you're good, but Dean, like you're the person that I was just talking about.
Oh,
Like, yeah,
absolutely.
I know that you're older, and you know, you're older, but you're someone who is in a position where you have a spouse, someone that you love and you care about, that you need to help take care of full time, and you should have access to Medicaid. And under the actual cuts that they're making, people like you, people that are just trying to, they're being forced in certain situations where they have to take care of their loved ones, they're losing access to their health care because they're quote unquote able-bodied.
And I'm not even, I mean, I'm not being selfish, but I'm not even getting a caretaker pay, which I was told I could, because the money is short.
Mhm.
In New Hampshire, where I live, there is no income tax and
Mhm.
there's no state tax, which makes it real difficult to have a extra supply of money. So
Mhm.
our Medicaid, I mean, it's so low on how much you could make. I think it's under $3,000 a year or some ridiculous figure.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know exactly, but it's just a sad situation. And I understand who might have judged this person. Okay, like I phrased earlier, able bodies. How do I know what's going? They might have problems with stuff they shouldn't be taking, or mental illness, or whatever.
Yeah. What in the world just happened to Chris? And we lost both Chris and we lost both Chris and Catchy Spy. Chris and Catchy Spy, if you're still here, you can come back up. I'm not sure what just happened. You guys can request back up. All right. Yeah, Dean. So to answer your question, I definitely think that the big beautiful bill will pass. And the
That's
reason why I think it will pass is because I think that we have this concept, because you said that it's something that's going to harm millions of Americans, and yeah, it will. It absolutely will. But the thing about it is, I've watched Republicans lambast Trump and what he's doing. I've heard them complain. I've heard them say, this is a bad thing. We can't actually pass these things. And they wring their hands. They say, we're not going to vote. We're not going to do this. We're not going to support it. And then the bill passes. This has happened multiple times over and over and over. The problem that I have as well is with the Senate. You know, they were in a position where they said like, hey, we're not even going to talk about it. We're not even going to talk about it because they didn't think that it was going to pass the
1 o'clock
House.
in the morning.
Yeah, and it passed the House.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that we need to understand is that with this bill looming and the potential that it will have, it's going to hurt millions of Americans. So, Dean, I want to talk to you about something a little bit more specific when it comes to that, right?
Okay.
Right. When it comes to the actual cuts, they had to scale it back, but there are certain Republicans who wanted specific cuts and wanted it to be more targeted and basically more harmful. Dean, serious question for you. You just spoke about how you live in New Hampshire and basically excess income is limited. What do you think happens to people like you when not only is excess income limited, but now they have more of a constraint on how much they have to divvy out and how much they can actually make? Like, what do you think is going to happen within the country?
It's going to be sad.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be very sad. I mean, this was a land of opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gone. I mean, I was at the market. I saw a sign that said freedom at the information desk. I asked them to take it down. They said,
Yeah.
why? I said, this isn't the land of freedom anymore. So the girl got nervous, and her supervisor escorted me out the door just because I was saying what I saw I didn't think was right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm getting off the subject. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Crash Out Queen. Crash Out Queen. Oh, Crash Out Queen is gone. All right, guys, keep tapping the screen. Keep tapping the screen. Let's go ahead and get the likes up. Let's get the likes up to 50,000 likes. Let's get the shares up to 150 shares. Guys, this, I know it looks like I might be sparring, but this is not sparring. This is Late Nights with Santana. Any and everyone is welcome to actually join. Any and everyone is welcome to join. And we are talking about the actual topics under on the background, specifically speaking to under one party rule. And I've kind of gotten into an introduction. The topic is under one party rule, red win, just more so specifically speaking to the fact that we're looking at multiple things, whether it's the inability for United States citizens to actually travel back into the country without being not only detained, but having their privacy invaded, right? That's happening. But then also we are now in a situation where other countries are warning their actual citizens about traveling to the U.S. We're talking about habeas corpus, right? Where not only does that lead to, it's not about the individual, it's about what happens when everyone's rights are possibly infringed on. We're talking about the actual cuts in social safety nets. And then we're also talking about the lock us up, right? And more so, I want to speak to, when I say lock us up, it speaks to an actual abuse of power, right? Whether we talk about Judge Hannah C. Dugan, who was arrested for aiding and abetting an undocumented immigrant, or whether we talk about Newark, New Jersey's mayor, Ras Bakara, who was arrested for protesting in front of an ICE facility. Like, I think that no matter where you stand on whatever side of the aisle, there's a need to yes, we want to hold politicians accountable. Yes, we want people to actually be able to be held accountable, but we don't want to see people targeted. And I think that's something that we really need to come to. And even more so, at the end of the night, I'll start to tell people what this topic is really about, because I know it says under one party rule, but there's a specific word for all of this. And it's something that I want everyone to be aware of, because it's something that's happened throughout the history of the world. And it's just something that I think that all Americans need to understand, and we need to take care of each other. Kenneth, how are you?
Well, I'm splendid as always. Perfect in every way. How you doing?
Good. Thank you for coming up, Kenneth. So, question for you: would you like to take a guess at what the underlying topic is when looking at the items on the background and saying under one party rule?
Under one party rule, we have travel safely, habeas corpus,
Mhm.
cut trillions, and lock us up.
Mhm.
Are you talking like fascism? Is that what you're talking about?
Close, but not it. That was actually a really good guess, Kenneth. Why did you say fascism, though?
It just sounds like the spiel you guys been saying for the past year.
Mm.
You know, it's aligned with your dogma that you've been spewing. So I just take a educated guess, a hypothesis, I guess, if you will.
Do you know what fascism is?
Oh yeah, I'm a graduate, so yeah, I know what it means.
Yeah. Hey, Ellie, if you can come up for me. I'm gonna send you a request, Ellie. I'm gonna send a couple of people a request, and if you guys could come up, I would love it. For the people that I just sent the request to, if you can come up, please come up. Please come up, guys. Keep tapping the screen, share the live, do all the wonderful things. Also, guys, just remember Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links are in Linktree in the bio. We do have a nightly donation goal. If you enjoy the information, education, entertainment, please consider donating. Everything is accepted. Anything's appreciated. So, Kenneth, question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding that today is Memorial Day, right? And understanding that we have veterans who have fought and died for this country and who we are, right? To uphold freedom, to uphold the way of life for America. And Kenneth, I think you and I can both agree that it doesn't matter who's in power in the sense of Republican or Democrat. Like we love the country and we want the country to actually be able to be successful and move forward, right?
I would like us to move forward. Yes.
You don't want the country to be successful?
Oh, of course. I mean, that's what I was thinking. Moving forward, yeah, being successful, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. With that being said, Kenneth, those people that fought and died, right? That fought and died, the ones that we remember, we honor, all of those things. Do you think that they would want to see the country devolve into anything except a country where you can call it the land of freedom?
I think they would like to maintain the land of freedom. Yeah, as they saw it.
Yeah.
I think we've already devolved into something that's unrecognizable to many of the veterans or the people who are buried in our memorials.
I think so too, Kenneth.
They look at our country like right now under Biden, and they probably can't recognize it. And they would
The country isn't under Biden, Kenneth.
I'm just saying they would receive Trump very well because he's bringing us back to when America was great again. His whole mantra is "Make America Great Again." We had fallen under Biden, but now we're starting to rise back up again, which is appreciated by, I'm sure, the people who have sacrificed the ultimate for this country.
Yeah. See, Kenneth, this is the thing that I think you're missing, right? And I think you're missing it because you're so locked into a MAGA mentality. And Kenneth, I want you to hear me when I say this. I promise you, this is not about your party. My background is not about your party. It's not about who you voted for. It's not about that. It's about America.
Well, not
It's a,
now because you lost. Now,
I hear you, Kenneth. Listen,
now it's shifted.
Kenneth, I want you to understand this. First and foremost, this isn't sparring, so I'm not debating you. This is late nights. I don't know if I think you've been on late nights before. But I really want you to listen to what we're talking about and really understand this, Kenneth, because this is super important. Clary, is that how you say it, Clary? Clary? Claire.
Just Claire.
Sorry, Claire.
Yeah, no worries.
Claire, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Wonderful. Claire, you said something interesting in the chat when I was saying, hey, can anybody guess what this is? Claire, what did you say?
I think there's a couple words that you could use to describe what's going on.
No, with the background, with this. What did you say?
I was chatting it up. So I said, I don't know. The last thing I said was oligarchy meets authoritarianism meets
That
fascism.
one. That
Yeah.
one. Why did you say authoritarianism?
Because we are actively, not we, but like a large part of this country is actively giving up power, checks and balances, balance of power to one person.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a person that hasn't proven to be trustworthy in any way throughout his personal history. And I'm just going to say, Kenneth makes me really sad.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel today on Memorial Day. I feel really sad.
Mm. Yeah, I understand.
It's not a happy holiday, so I share your sentiment. It's not a happy.
I'm on a different. I know I'm on a different side, and I feel deeply, and I wish I could unplug, but it just watching what's happening and watching good folks like you, actively take power away from the Constitution that founded the Republic, if we can keep it. It just feels like we've taken a lot of steps backwards, and that's putting it really lightly. I'm trying to not doomsday right now, but
yeah, no.
Sounds.
Listen.
I'm really happy that most people in the country don't feel like you do. We think we're going forward. I'm glad you're in the minority.
Hold on.
I'm glad you're in the minority.
Kenneth, seriously,
Yeah.
This is not a debate. This is not sparring. This is late nights. This is just a conversation, and I want us to be able to talk because Claire came up here and she actually nailed it, and I want us to actually explore why she said that. But Kenneth, I genuinely, when like a lot of people don't for some reason like you to have you on the live, Kenneth, right? And they much prefer to kick you, and they'll even try to pay to kick you. But Kenneth, first and foremost, on late nights we don't do pay to kick, so that's not going to happen. But Kenneth, I want not only you, but people who have a similar mindset as you to be up here, because I think this conversation is super important. Because Kenneth, when I said this is not about your party, I mean it. I promise you, I'm not trying to debate you. I'm not trying to attack you. I am not, lambasting you for your vote or anything. Kenneth, I am talking to you as an American, and I want you to hear this because this is important. Okay?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'm willing to listen to everything, of course.
Okay. So let me just highlight a couple of things about authoritarian rule, right? It's a concentration of power, right? That's one of the actual components of authoritarian rule, a concentration of power. And that's why the top says under one party rule, right? And we know for a fact that there are people within our government that are willing to actually cede power to the executive branch, that are, in the Congress. And even within this big, beautiful bill, there's even a provision that limits the judicial power as far as how they can challenge the executive branch, right? So they're coalescing power under one actual party.
And may I say also, these are systems that have been in place for the entirety, not the entirety, all of them, but these are systems that have been put in place for a very long time to balance power. And to watch our current administration sign them away with a stroke of the pen and then try to pass legislation that it you're saying it perfectly, it condenses power to one person. Like that's what we're trying to say here. Like it's a little scary. Not a little, it's very scary.
Yeah. But then another actual part of authoritarian rule is suppression of freedoms, right? And Kenneth, when I say suppressions of freedom, I mean not only limiting who has the ability to speak up and speak out, but also doing things like, Kenneth, have you heard about people coming back into the country and they're taking people's devices and scanning them and checking them and see if they're saying anything negative about the president?
I've heard of it.
Like, what do you think about that? And not even necessarily talking about Trump, but just like for that to happen to an American, just to see if they're saying anything negative about a politician.
What are they doing? Like a who was that FBI agent who wrote the 8-6? Or are they doing those type of threats on their phone?
They're doing it, period, right? So I'll give a specific example. So I live close to the Canadian border, and my wife and I often travel to Canada. And since for the last couple of months, we have not been to Canada because there is an actual notice that the Canadian government has put out to their citizens and let them know, like, hey, going in and out of the country, you are putting yourself at risk. And yes, the United States is actually checking people's devices to see what they're saying before traveling back into the country. And Kenneth, you don't even have to give them like your passcode to your phone. They have a device where they can actually hook your phone up and scan all the data on your phone without you unlocking it. You don't have to give consent. If you don't give consent, then they can, well, not with U.S. citizens, they're not supposed to deny you access back into the country, but they'll make it really hard for you to get back into the country. And if you're a non-U.S. citizen, they'll just say no.
Even
Kenneth,
if you have
do
an
you
iPhone?
believe that?
Even if you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
Wow, I thought the encryption on iPhone was so complex they couldn't do that with a simple device.
This is the federal government.
I mean, even though it's them, Apple is proven to be more advanced than the feds.
I hear
so
you.
I'm not sure if that account is true.
Yeah. I mean,
and I just don't believe it. But if it were true,
I
still wouldn't believe it. Still wouldn't believe it. It's just that I don't.
Wait, Kenneth, did you just say even if it wasn't true, you still wouldn't believe it?
Yeah, I still wouldn't believe it because it's so far fetched that they're checking everybody's phone to see if you said a bad thing about the president.
Kenneth, you just said, Kenneth, you just said, even if something is true, I would not believe it.
Yeah, I still wouldn't. It's still too far fetched for me to believe it.
Okay,
I mean, this is America, and I know you want to reminisce back on your school days when they taught you the horrors of Germany, but this is not it. This is America. Our diversity exempts us from that. Exempts us from that example.
Okay, hold on 1 second, Kenneth. Go ahead, Claire.
No, this question's like just for Kenneth. Like I know he's not going to believe. Well, he doesn't believe. He just said he doesn't believe those things. But let's like dial it back to things that are are in the news. We'll say, what do you think about the executive branch using their authority to kick foreign students out of the country?
Hold on. I don't want to get too far away from breaking down the actual items of authoritarian rule, which I know that kind of ties into it.
That's
but
a big part of it.
It is. I don't want to get too far into it just yet, though. You're about to feed them with a fire hydrant, and we're still trying to hit them with a dropper.
Yeah,
I see where you're going.
I think the president, commander in chief, has the right, and I wouldn't say the right, but the powers to get rid of or kick out alien invaders.
And you like that?
Oh yeah. Well, so hold on. Let's wait. Both of you, please stop for a second, because again, I don't want us to get into a debate. This is not a debate. This is not a debate.
That's all right.
So I need both of you to kind of pull it back just a half a second, because we're talking, and I need everyone to actually, understand. Kenneth, I'll just say this, and I'm gonna keep going. I'll say this, and I'm gonna keep going, but I would really say you need to take a whole step back, because the statement that you made is not only dangerous, it puts you at risk, right? For you to sit here and say, even if something is true, you're unwilling to believe it, you're putting yourself at risk. So that's all I'm going to say about that. That's all I'm going to say about that. The next thing that I want to, another thing that is an actual trademark of authoritarianism rule is limited political pluralism. Pluralism. I'm so bad with that word.
Pluralism.
Yeah.
You
But
got that.
just the actual constriction of parties, right? And I mean, we already have a two-party system that's predominant, but we see a lot of politicians that are willing to cross the line and join one party or the other just because, one, they have no actual opportunity to gain power, but they're actually willing to betray what they would call their standards, morals, or values just so they can actually get power.
That part.
And that's dangerous.
I find it funny, the party that really hasn't elected anybody, and their leader, past leader who held the mantle of nominee, was actually appointed by a man who had cognitive decline. So she was appointed by a person who is like senile.
Hey, Santana, I appreciate you having me up. I gotta
Thank you,
drop
Claire.
down though. Thank
I
you so much. I
appreciate you.
really do. I'm a big fan. I appreciate
Thank
you.
you. I appreciate you more.
Yeah,
Kenneth,
and the party that,
Kenneth. I promise you, I know you want to say, what about Biden? And I am not talking about Donald Trump. I'm not calling Trump's name. I just want you to understand what's happening.
No, I just want to, if you want to talk about the demise of the two-party system, you guys destroyed the Democratic Party. Well, with what you've been doing, you haven't been electing anybody. You've been appointing people.
All right, Kenneth. Cool. All right. Yeah. So just an FYI to everyone watching, this is Late Nights with Santana. This is not Sparring with Santana. And if you are interested in actually joining the panel, you can definitely request up. We will take up to 4 people. I'm trying to keep control of the panel and kind of limit how we do it overall, but you don't have to be a friendly or opposition or whatever. Thank you for the heart hands. Anyone can actually join. Anyone can actually join. Kenneth, the next thing is use of repression, right? And more so that speaks to different groups are, or the way that they actually suppress information and they restrict those, or they actually they exclude certain people, right? And I think that you see this when you have certain people within a political party that's exiled for not falling in line, right? I mean, Kenneth, can we at least agree that people that were in certain parties years ago are no longer allowed in those parties? And we can say it on both sides, right? We can talk about how Mitt Romney got drove out of government. Thank you for the balloons. But we can also talk about how RFK Jr. left the Democratic Party to go to the Republican Party, how Tulsi Gabbard left the Democratic Party to go to the Republican Party. So we can talk about politicians on both sides being somewhat ran out of their party because they either thought a different way or, you know, didn't necessarily fall in line. Like, that's a thing, right, Kenneth?
I agree.
Okay. All right.
I see nothing wrong with it. If they can get elected on a new platform, then Godspeed. You know, I believe in pluralism too, and if the people want a different opinion, a different direction, they have the right to do that. And the representatives, which we have a representative republic, if they want to choose to represent a different way, they can do it if they get away with it. If the voters don't believe it, then they'll vote them out. But I don't see any problem with party switch.
Okay. All right. The next thing is emotional legitimacy, and this speaks to how certain political parties they appeal to the overall emotion of people and not necessarily the validity of the way that they're ruling, right, Kenneth? So when we talk about people who we can talk about culture wars, right, Kenneth? Because like the United States has become all about culture wars where people like to demonize certain groups, and whether it's talking about how there's a massive push to target transgender people, or if there's a massive push to label people as racist, or all of this other stuff, there is within our country there is a large amount of people appealing to emotion, more so than appealing to the rule of law and progress for the country. Can we agree on that one?
I wouldn't say more, but I guess it's more profile. It's more spotlighted now, I guess.
Okay.
I think people have always been ruled by emotion. So
Okay. All right. Hey Jessica, how are you?
Santana, how are you doing tonight?
Good. Jessica, so we're getting into it, and Kenneth and I are kind of running through. We've been so I have the topics on the background, and we had a person who came up and not only nailed what the premise is behind the items on the background, but the header. And we're speaking to authoritarianism and the possibility of an authoritarian regime, right? And
Yep.
I think it's something that we have to be able to spot, something that we have to be able to address, something that we have to be able to prepare for, and something that we have to be able to protect each other with, right? And whether we talk about the travel safety, right, which that's the suppression of dissonance, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about habeas corpus, which is limiting due process. We can talk about the trillions or I'm sorry, cut trillions, which is erosion of democratic institutions, right? Or we can even talk about the actual quote unquote lock us up, and specifically looking at the target that they put on judges and mayors, and that speaks to limiting political pluralism. Why can't I say that word? Anyway, all of these things lend themselves to fallen under a authoritarian rule, which is the opposite of what we are, who we are as the United States. And my premise is this is not a left issue, this is not a right issue, this is an American issue. So what do you think, Jessica?
I think you're spot on. There was another live that I was in. I wasn't on the panel, I was just in the comments. And I hate the fact that people base their votes off of left or right. Because to be perfectly honest, it shouldn't matter whether or not you're left or right. It should matter on the morals that you yourself have. And me and you had talked about this before, Santana, about there's a lot of people that vote strictly left or strictly right, either just because their family did or because they were pressured into it, which I can understand to an extent. But you shouldn't make that your entire personality if your morals don't fully align with what that side is doing. You shouldn't do it.
Yeah, I agree with that, Jessica. Kenneth, I want to come back to you for just a half a second, and then I'm going to introduce new people on the panel. But Kenneth, knowing that we just went through multiple key indicators when it comes to authoritarianism, and how that is something that we can spot, not just, and again, I'm not calling out, one specific person, but I'm saying that it's a dangerous trend for our country if it happens on the left or the right. Can you understand how that's something that at least is in sight and something that we need to protect each other and our country from?
no, I think it's welcome. I think we've had too much weakness at the top for too long.
Wait. So you want authoritarian? You want an authoritarian in power?
I would like a little bit more. I'd like the president to assume more of his Article 2 powers. Yes, I believe
Can
in
I speak on this real quick,
I,
Santana?
after I'm done, you may. But I like to. I
Kenneth,
like.
don't be rude. Don't be rude. But
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
Jessica, let him finish his sentence,
Yep,
and
I
then for
will.
sure. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Kenneth.
I like a strong president. We've had too many weak ones in the past. And I know the pendulum sometimes swings too far, but it's too far on weakness right now. And we need to swing back to the right where we have a strong leader who can make things done more efficiently. Too many things are not being done because we don't have the leadership. Like the border, we were waiting for a bill from Langford, and Trump got in and he closed the border immediately. And that comes with strong leadership. All the tariffs, all the $400 million jet, that's because we're respected as a leader right now, and Trump has the strength to carry that out. Harris did not have that strength, and that's why the people voted. Democracy is kind of on shaky grounds right now. Like I said, Democrats kind of destroyed that.
Democracy is definitely on shaky grounds
Yeah,
right now.
yeah, and right now we need a strong leader to even strengthen that democracy. That's what we need. This wavering around, this yellow belliness, it's not going to be productive to democracy if we're too weak to hold on to it. Trump authoritarianism, if you want to call it that, is a welcome addition, and the strength is welcomed by people on the right. We welcome it.
Sure. So, real quick, and Jessica, I promise you, I'm gonna come to you. I'm gonna come to you in just a second. So Kenneth, let me say a couple of names and you tell me if they mean anything to you. Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, dictator of Germany.
Joseph Stalin.
Yeah, a communist dictator of Russia.
Mussolini.
Fascist ruler of Italy.
Mao Zedong.
Mao Zedong.
Yeah, I know I messed that one up.
That's going to be a communist leader of China.
Vladimir Putin.
Strongman leader of Russia.
Okay. So all of these men were authoritarians, right? I mean, different forms of authoritarianism, but they were authoritarians nonetheless.
Well, you forgot Abraham Lincoln.
So you think Abraham Lincoln was?
Yeah,
Tell me why.
He suspended the writ of habeas corpus. He waged war in his country to the south. Now that's pretty authoritarianism right there. If you want to look it up and down, everything you're accusing Trump of doing, habeas corpus suspension, that's Abraham Lincoln did it tenfold. So when
yeah, that's a wild statement to make, Kenneth, especially understanding that there was a need to free humans, not to consolidate power, not to say, oh, this country doesn't have enough strong leadership, but to actually free human beings. Kenneth, that's a bit of a stretch.
Well, I didn't make a judgment call whatsoever. I said Lincoln is suspended the writ of habeas corpus, and if that's an indication of dictatorship, then by
that's
definition,
not an indicator of dictatorship.
I mean, though. it's on your list.
But no, like again, using it in a justified way, right? I mean, if we're talking about an actual civil war, I understand Donald Trump and the Trump administration specifically are using this as a way to follow through on a campaign promise, something that they want to execute. In which, again, the one thing that I will say is that with actual elections, the people that elections have consequences, and the people that win power should have the right to actually rule within the constraints of the law and the Constitution the way that they want. And if this administration decided that they wanted to execute their mass deportation, and they decided they wanted to do it within the rule of law without bending or trying to break the Constitution, then that's their right. But they're looking for ways to circumvent the law, the Constitution, because they don't know how to actually govern, and that's a problem, Kenneth.
Well, I think they enacted a law, they deported people, and then it's up to courts to say it was bad or not. And if they don't say it's bad, they can continue doing it. And if they do say it's bad, they found another route because they want the ends are still the ends. They still want these invaders gone. And whatever law we need to enact, we need to do it. And we can't ask permission from the courts before we do it. He has to do it and then get a consent or disapproval from the court. So he did it in a proper fashion. He's perfectly within the constitutional.
Can you turn your TV down for me, please?
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead and finish your point, and I want to give it to Jessica for a second, and I also want to introduce new people on the panel. But go ahead and finish your point for me, Ken.
I just want to say that he's in perfectly in line with the Constitution. I'll turn my TV down.
Okay. W's in the chat for Priscilla. Priscilla added $1 to the nightly donation goal. Priscilla, I can't read that for multiple reasons because we don't want to say one word that's in there because that's ableist. I will say that Kenneth does definitely want proximity to whiteness because proximity to whiteness gives him the ability to actually access the patriarch, which, you know, he's not going to get access to the top of it, but you know, some people want it for sure. But W's in the chat for Priscilla, who added that $1 donation. Guys, that means we only have $249 left in our nightly donation goal. So Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24, best way to support the live. If you enjoy the information, education, entertainment, please consider donating. Everything is accepted. Anything is appreciated. And also over on YouTube, what up, YouTube? What up, Twitch? If you're watching over on YouTube, make sure you like the stream. Hit the like button for me, hit the like button, and let's, you know, keep that'll get more people in. But also, if you're watching over on YouTube and you want to support the live, you can send a YouTube super chat, and I will go ahead and read that YouTube super chat out. So you can definitely support. Everything is accepted and things appreciated. Jessica, you said you had something you wanted to say, and then I want to get to Miss Nancy and also Omega.
Yeah, sorry about that, Santana.
No
I
worries.
didn't mean to interrupt you or Kenneth earlier. So question for you, Kenneth. Back then, before the Revolutionary War, did we think that Britain was authoritative?
Did we think King George was a dictator?
Yes. Did we think he was authoritative?
Yes, he was the king, yes.
Okay. And so the whole reason that we founded the United States was to get away from authoritative rule, yes?
Yeah, they found their own country so they could be free to do as they will.
So if we had already gotten away from that, when we were originally a part of Britain, why would we now want that again? Because that, in my opinion, makes all the lives that were lost in the Revolutionary War. It basically dishonors all of the fallen soldiers, and it's Memorial Day. It dishonors them because now we're putting in the exact same type of rule that we had fought tooth and nail to get away from to get our freedom.
And no, that's not true. We're still bound. Trump is still bound by the Constitution, so we don't have a monarchy here. So
But the thing is that
it's not equivalent. So you can't make that argument.
The thing is that he's not going by the Constitution. He's tried to go past the amendments so many times already without even trying to go through Congress, or at the very least trying to sneak around without getting.
Which amendment has he tried to go around?
Let's see. He's gone after the 14th Amendment.
He's
also tried to go after the second.
How did he go around the 14th?
He's gone after the 4th. He's gone after the 5th. He's gone after the 19th and the 22nd.
Okay, how did he go the 14th? How's he done the 14th?
Birthright citizenship.
Yep.
That's for black people. That's not for immigrants.
That's for anyone that's born in the country.
No, it's
Kenneth,
not.
you know what's bothering me about this conversation now?
What's that?
Legitimately, so you and I have only had like a specific hyper-focused conversation around like Donald Trump, right? And your love of MAGA. And
love of America.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you and I, like I've been speaking to you directly about authoritarian rule and trying to not speak necessarily on Donald Trump, and you kind of engaged in it. And every time that you engaged in it, Kenneth, you know what it actually, like, I just learned about you, and I'm not even joking.
Mm-hmm.
you're not a stupid person, Kenneth. You actually, like, you impressed me with some of the conversation that we were having, which makes this conversation even worse. It makes this worse, Kenneth, because you're not someone that doesn't know better. You actually know better. Like, listening to you speak, and again, please don't take this the wrong way, Kenneth, but you actually have some intelligence, and I did not realize that. And that bothers me even more, realizing that.
Mm. Yeah, I know I'm right. You know what I mean?
I hear you, but Kenneth,
Yeah, so,
you don't think that they're, like, seriously, because now it becomes an actual interesting point that we're at, where you're actually, I saw someone put it in the chat, and I'm wondering, like, is it willful ignorance? Because Kenneth, like, I legitimately, I don't think that I'm saying things that you don't know. I think that you're just choosing to actually not embrace or actually, like, address those. That's kind of, oh, Kenneth, that's actually shocking.
yeah. A lot of things I do disavow a lot of things you say because I don't believe them to be true. So, and I'm a little older than you, so I've been thinking about things that you just thought about this morning.
I hear
Like,
you. I hear you.
so the thoughts that you have that just occurred to you, I've already been through them. I've already analyzed them. Turned out that they were wrong. And when you get some more whiskers, you'll be with me.
I hear you.
I
Hold
have
tight for me
faith.
just a second, Kenneth.
I have faith in the children.
Hold tight for me just a second. Massive W's in the chat for Kenneth, not you. Kenneth over on YouTube, who sent a $50 YouTube super chat to say this is towards the nightly goal, help to keep up the great work, Santana. Kenneth, thank you so much for that $50 donation. You are absolutely far too kind. W's in the chat for Lisa, who sent a $25 donation towards the nightly donation goal, saying donation to keep up the fight. W's in the chat for hold on, I just had it. Kabira, who sent a $25 towards the nightly donation goal, saying MAGA never studies world history. Kabira, I was thinking the same thing, but again, like, listening to Kenneth speak, I don't necessarily believe that anymore, and so now it's really bothering me. And also W's to someone who sent yep, W's in the chat for all of the guys. Thank you so much. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24, best way to support the live. Everything is accepted, anything is appreciated. And over on YouTube, you can send a YouTube super chat to actually help support the live. Okay. Miss Nana, I'm sorry, Miss Nana Granny 63. How are you?
How you doing, Santana?
I'm good. What would you like to actually add to the conversation?
Okay. I'm gonna try to not go into my feelings, and I'm gonna try to be calm. And I'm gonna say this to Kenneth. Kenneth, Mr. Santana may not be as old as you, but he's still a grown man. Now, one time while you talk and spurt that evil stuff out your mouth, did Mr. Santana show you any form of disrespect? And for you to sit up here and disrespect him and call him, you still have faith in the kids, and that's a grown man. That's disrespectful of you. Like I said, he never disrespected you. Now, one word, he sat here and listened to all that garbage you just spit out, wanting to be something to somebody who you will never be, who they will never accept as one of them. Pooping on top of us. I understand you when Master sick, we sick, but everybody knows we don't. You keep that to yourself, and don't ever disrespect that man, because he didn't disrespect you. I'm sorry, Mr. Santana, but that didn't sit right on my soul.
Listen, I thank you. I really appreciate you so much. I really do. That means so much to me. And in all seriousness, Kenneth, like he and I have went back and forth multiple times. And I have, yeah, I've disrespected him before, but also like, seriously, the conversation that I'm trying to get across to him tonight is bigger than whatever words he's going to say, right? It's bigger than disrespect, it's bigger than pettiness. And that's why I keep trying to hammer this home to Kenneth, and I'm hoping that he hears this. And I'm hoping that people listening hear this. I legitimately, when I say this, I don't care if people voted for Donald Trump. Like, for me, this is not about Donald Trump. The reason why I'm talking about this week is not about Donald Trump. I fear for the direction of our country. And that's why I'm willing to, like with Kenneth or anyone else, like they can say whatever they want to say. I promise you it's not going to trigger me, because this is really important. This is really important. And I need people to hear this. I need people to understand this. And I need people to engage, because we're, like, this is not something that people need to sweep under the rug, and we need to come together as Americans to understand what's happening. This is a real thing. And so, yeah, Kenneth can say whatever he wants to say, and he can try or whatever. Like, that doesn't bother me, but I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And the state of America right now has been the state of America all along.
Mm-hmm.
It was just cover on top of it. You know how you get in the bed, you done made your bed up, you done put the fitted sheet on, then you done put the comforter on, and he's like, damn, I forgot the top sheet. So now you got to pull the comforter off, put the top sheet on, and then put the comforter back on. See, what happened was Trump came along and he took all the cover off the bed. And now they out here ripping and running up and down the streets of TikTok. They get to call us stuff. If we even blow off steam, TikTok shutting us down.
Yeah.
See, it's always been like that. It just wasn't so in our face. Now it's in our face. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You see, they take it for granted. What they thinking that we are our ancestors, and we're not. We're different. We grown. And they don't know that they own the. Remember when Pearl Harbor attacked the United States? And after they did what they did, one of their captains told them, he said, should we find them again? Should we find them again? And he said, no, we done did what we could do. We done already woken a sleeping giant. Now what they about to do, they about to F around and find out that if they keep on nudging at us, they're going to waken that sleeping giant.
Yep. I think that you know it's so interesting, and I don't want to get too far beyond where we are, but I gotta say something about what you just said. When you said we are not our ancestors, you are absolutely right. And so I was watching in Kansas City as the far right, white, whatever, actually marched. Right, they were marching in Kansas City, and the thing that people were like, "Hey, Santana, did you see that? What do you think?" Da 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 da. And the only thing that I can think of is, I am not afraid of those cowards.
No,
I'm not. I'm not. Like, they hide their face, they cover up with masks, and they think that they are intimidating people, but they're not. And I'm not afraid of those cowards, and I know that there are so many people that are not afraid of those cowards, and the way that they tried to do things before is not the way that things are going to happen again. It's not going to happen that way.
And see, that's the part that they can't get past, because they believe that it is.
Yeah.
They think that it's going to unfold the way that it unfolded then. And see, have you ever seen that, that person that like to drink that Kool-Aid all the time, and he get that liquid courage? That's what they got. They got that liquid courage. Trump came along and gave them liquid courage.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot of people that see that, and they think that it's an opportunity to steal back power. But the reason why I have this background, it's more so to speak to where things are and where things are heading, because like even those people, like if they're listening, in which there's a good chance that they're listening, like I'm talking to them. Because even the people that think that, oh, I'm going to be able to get my place back where I was, when I was on top, where my ancestors were, make America great again. But you're not. You're not, because when we fall under authoritarianism rule, then the whole dynamic shifts, and it's not about the individuals anymore. It's not about the people who used to actually have power. It's not about the people that used to own land or used to run this or run that. All Americans are in jeopardy. We're all in jeopardy. And that's what's so mind-blowing about all of this, is that people are fighting individual battles thinking that if they win these individual battles, then they're somehow going to be able to put themselves in a position where they are in charge or they are in rule. But that's not what's happening. The direction that the country is heading is going to harm every single person on this panel, all 310 people listening to this live, everyone in this country, if you are not someone that has direct access to that hierarchy of power.
They like I say, they go F around and find out, because it's not sustainable this way.
Yeah,
it's just not. It's not meant to be this way. I mean, come on, really? I mean, I know Ken, since he want to throw out there to you how much older he is than you, then I'm quite sure he has kids and he has grandkids. And how could you take food away from kids? Come on now, you gonna take out. My daughter told me that she was reading up on this bill. The bill is going to cover the kids up until 7.
Yep, until 7.
I mean, for real, 7? So you want the 8-year-olds to go out and get a job?
Yep.
Make that make sense. But
Well,
see, somebody like him, he good with that.
I'll say this, because this is something that I've been harping on, and I was on Zeus's live earlier, or did I say this on? I don't know. I run around these TikTok streets and I talk about a lot of different things, but I've been on this kick a lot lately. But it's the actual process of them trying to shrink the middle class and increase the working class, right?
Yep.
And so that's why you see certain things like, yeah, they're taking younger kids off access to, different social safety nets. But you also see them raising the age to be able to access Social Security. You see them actually restricting the different physical limitations when it comes to being able to qualify for like Medicaid. They're doing all of these things that will say, well, you have to work. You have to work. Yep. There's no exceptions. You have to go out and you have to figure out. That's why they even had a conversation around dropping the actual age for like, I think the youngest that you're technically supposed to be able to work is 16 or something. I'll look it up. But they're looking at dropping the age because they want to increase the workers while decreasing the middle class and coalescing the power at the top.
I knew it was a change coming when I started to see schools change. When I started to notice that, at first I started getting suspicious because by the time my kids started going to school, the things that we had in school, they had removed.
Yep.
There were no more home ec.
Yep.
There was no more, nothing left in school for the kids. And then when I noticed that the kids now, they wasn't learning how to write in cursive. So my mind was like, how they supposed to write their names?
Yep.
How do they sign anything? No, you don't have to sign anything anymore. No. That don't sit right in my soul. Okay, make America great again. Y'all don't understand what making America great again means. It means going back to where they didn't have to pay you to work.
Yep, absolutely. Let's do this because I want to.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Listen.
You on the phone.
Let me. Can I be honest with you for a half a second? And I know I got people saying like, "Hey, don't forget to do this, whatever." Can I be like super honest with you for just half a second?
Yes.
So I lost my grandmother in 2020, right?
Don't say 19.
Say it again.
It wasn't from 19.
No. You know what really bothers me? One reason I haven't talked about what's happening with Joe Biden, like I made a video announcing that he has, stage 4 cancer.
Right.
But one thing that bothers me that people talk about, because they're saying like, oh, they knew that Joe Biden had cancer and they tried to run him and da 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 da. I lost my grandmother in 2020 to stage 4 cancer.
Okay.
And when I lost my grandmother, it was from the time that we found out that she had stage 4 cancer to the time that we lost her, it was about 3 weeks.
See?
It was the shortest window that I have ever seen. And we didn't expect it, right? It's just one day she started saying like she was having stomach issues. Like her stomach was bothering her, she wasn't eating. And then she got checked out and they found out that she had stage 4 cancer and it had spread through her entire body, and she ended up being put on home hospice, right? And it again, I lost my grandmother in 3 weeks. And so it bothers me when people talk about Joe Biden and him having stage 4 cancer and saying, well, they knew when he was in office, possibly, right? But I doubt it. I mean, there's a good chance, but for people to weaponize his health for political gains, it's sickening. It's absolutely sickening. And it's just not true. But I say all that to say, like, I was super close to my grandmother, right? I mean, I loved my grandmother to life, right? I mean, she and I used to call her every single day, and I would just have long conversations with her about nothing. I would sit there and say, hey, what are you watching on TV? And she would tell me, well, I'm watching the Western, or I'm watching Jeopardy, or I'm watching the news. And we would just sit and talk.
You just want to hear her breathe.
Yeah. And I promise you, having a conversation with you just now just made, or like kind of reminded me of my,
I know.
Of my grandmother. So I appreciate
I love you
I appreciate
too.
you talking to me
from
for
a
a second.
grandmother's point of view. I love you too, baby.
Yeah. Kenneth, Omega, what do you want to bring to the topic?
Wow, no, I was just bro, you never told me that. I'm sorry for your loss, man.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're good.
Grandma's special. No, just the rhetoric. I feel like Kenneth is saying it's kind of like very dangerous because he, like you said, he's not dumb. He knows stuff, and the fact that he still finds the breath to say it with his whole chest is disturbing to me. I mean, like, there was a reason why Lincoln suspended habeas corpus. I mean,
right.
he was unlawful detention also meant fell under slaves. I mean, but you're saying like, oh, it's unjustified, it's unfounded. I don't. So you're saying, I want to know from you, are you saying that we should have been in chains and we should have stayed slaves? Or is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that Lincoln suspended the writ of habeas corpus in order to free the slaves. And I don't think that's, if Donald Trump wants to use that, the writ in order to save us from the invasion, I don't think that's out of the boundaries of the presidential power. I don't think that, I wouldn't mind him using it. And I wouldn't say just because he used it makes him a dictator, because Lincoln used it. Did that make Lincoln a dictator as well? I just, that's what my argument was.
bro, that's like two totally different scenarios.
I
You
mean,
have
yeah,
one that's using it to liberate people, and you have one president that's using it to oppress people. That you can't put those two in the same category.
I think
Just-
he's liberating us
that's a
from.
dog. That's a dog that won't fetch. That you can't mix that
I
happen.
think Trump would be liberating us from the invasion. So they're both liberators in my eyes.
What is this invasion that you speak of?
Like for instance, instead of like I used to love listening to like NWA and Eazy-E and Compton, and now I've heard that the Latinos have taken over Compton. It's like El Compton now, El
What?
Comptino.
Yeah, Kenneth, come on now. Come on.
I mean they've
Come on,
become.
Kenneth.
Am I
Kenneth.
right?
Come on. Like
I'm
I said,
at,
Listen,
the
we
rhetoric
understand
you
that
say
there's
is very
always
wrong.
been a heavy Latino presence in not only Compton but also LA, but California, right? I mean, that's one of the beautiful things about that state is that actual presence. So like for you to say that, it's kind of really disingenuous, and it actually degrades who we are as a country, that we have access to so many people, so much culture, so many opportunities to learn and grow and gain access to other things. Listen, the one thing that I love, like I am married to an Ethiopian woman, right? And my wife is such a blessing, but even more her family, her culture. It's such a blessing to me being a black man born in America, not really having access or understanding of my roots when it comes to my lineage in Africa, and being able to experience her culture, her family's culture, and getting access to that is like one of the greatest things. And so for you to sit here and act as if not having access to other cultures or having access to other cultures is a bad thing. Come on, Kenneth, stop it.
Detriment.
I just think that there's a struggle for limited resources, and we've worked hard as black people to secure certain resources, and now you guys want to give them away to invaders. I don't think that's right. That's all it is. You want to give away our resources and our amendments? What else? What else are you going to give away?
Yeah, hold on one second, because I'm sorry, I got to do this real quick. W's in the chat. W's in the chat for a couple of different people. Let me get back here. W's in the chat for Glenn. Glenn sent a $5 donation for support. Glenn, thank you so much for that $5 donation. You're absolutely far too kind. W's in the chat for Erica. Erica sent a $2 donation to say ageism is wild. Ask Kenneth how shiny his tap shoes are or how heavy his cape is. He's caping for white supremacy. Yeah, I mean, yeah. But W's in the chat for both of them. Thank you so much for those donation, guys. That means we're only $187 away from closing out our nightly donation goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Santana Speaks 24 is the best way to support the live. If you enjoy the information, education, entertainment, please, please, please consider donating. Everything is accepted. Anything is appreciated. If you're over on YouTube, hey, just like Catherine. Catherine just sent a $5 donation over on YouTube, sent a YouTube super chat to say, you are brilliant, so full of love and empathy. We love you, Santana. Listen, thank you so much. I love you so much more. I promise you, I don't deserve the kind words. You are absolutely amazing. Thank you for that support. You can support over on YouTube with a YouTube super chat. Guys, let's get the likes up. The likes are moving kind of slow. We're only at 77,000 likes. Let's tap the screen. Let's get the likes up to 150,000 likes. Let's get the shares up to 200 shares. If we could, can we knock out the tiny dinies, please? That is the gift goal. Can we knock out the tiny dinies? I'm going to start to rotate some people out because we got some people in the queue. So if you're hanging out in the queue, please hold tight. I will get you in. Omega, I want you to finish your point, but I have to go to Kabira because she's sitting up top, and I love me some Kabira. But go ahead, Omega. The floor is yours.
I just want to say, like, you make me ashamed to be named Kenneth myself. And the fact is that you can't have it both ways. Either we are the greatest country in the world, or we're a third world country. You're talking about we have limited resources, but then the next thing y'all know, your president is talking about we're the greatest country in the world. So which one is it? I mean, at this point, you're falling right under the playbook of these elite white supremacists that are having you do their dirty work, which don't really even care about you. They would step on you with their heel if they could.
I don't think the idea of limited resources is,
bro.
I didn't make that up. Everybody knows that the world has limited resources, and we have to
It's
compete
not
for those.
true, and you're being
Okay,
disingenuous.
Thanos.
I mean,
It's
we
not
do.
true. You're being
Call me
disingenuous.
Thanos. Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I meant to call this out earlier. I didn't see this one. I apologize. Debbie's in the chat for Lauren, who sent a $5 donation and said, thanks for the invite. I was having dinner. Love your show. Oh, Ellie. Oh, thank you so much, Ellie. Listen, the reason why I originally invited you up is because you nailed it. I was shocked. You were the first person that I saw that actually got that right as far as what we were talking about. But thank you so much for that $5 donation, guys. That means we're only $182 away from closing out our nightly donation goal. All right, go ahead and finish Omega, and then I want to go to Kabira.
I just want to finish it out with saying a great quote from a great poet. I bind you, Nancy, bind you from doing harm to yourself and harm to others. Man, because you are a piece of work. The stuff that you're saying is coming straight out of the crap. I mean, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Kabira, hey Kabira, how are you?
What's going on, Santana? How's it going?
A long time. You've been hiding from me.
No, I haven't been hiding. You know what? I took a nap today. Usually I wake up at 3 in the morning, right?
I'm jelly.
And I fall asleep, and then I wake up at 10 or 11 at night, and I'm roaming around my house. So
You sound like my mom. She does the same thing.
exactly. But I took a nap today, so I said, I saw the little thing, Santana, you know, on Twitter. I said, let me get on and stop and see my boy Santana. So I'm here. But I think Kenneth is, like you said, he's an intelligent person, but
would shock me.
His mind is occupying 2 spaces at one time, right? Yeah. And so I just have a question. I know it's not a debate, so maybe something all of us can ponder. Who is this invasion by? Because, you know, they say the invasion is coming from, let's face it, the people of color, right? But see, invasion is a trigger word, right? So it's going to trigger emotion. So when Trump uses invasion, right, this is to trigger feelings. You know what I'm saying? And so then I noticed he said that Compton is being taken over by the Latinos, right? But okay, so who was in, and I live in California, I live in Southern California. I go to Los Angeles area periodically. So who was in, and I want Kenneth to follow the chronological order of this. Who was in Compton before the Latinos?
The blacks.
Okay, when did the
Kenneth, come on now.
When did black people invade Compton? What time period did black people invade Compton?
I mean, we're here legally. The invaders are undocumented.
I want you to follow my train of thought.
I understand, but you're comparing apples and oranges.
Kenneth, just follow
okay,
what
we'll play your game.
Good. When did black people invade Compton?
1960s, maybe?
No, it was in the 70s. Who was in Compton before black folks invaded Compton?
Maybe Latinos?
No, white folks.
Okay.
Now,
same thing.
No. Why did white folks leave Compton?
Because of the black people. Is that what it is?
And why did they left black people? They left Compton because
white flight. Because of white flight.
Prejudice, right?
Jeez, really? I'm sorry, Kabira. I can't take Kenneth serious anymore.
Exactly. So to white man, we were the invaders, and so white flight, right? Now you're black. You're a black man, right? And so they looked at us as invaders. We had the cooties, everything, right? So then we took over Compton, and then now the Latinos, they're in Compton. It's just a progression. Nothing stays the same, Kenneth.
It sounds like a regression for black people.
No, because
It's
it may be
it's
black people.
it's a progression for the Latinos, but a regression for blacks. And
Why
that's
is
what
it a
I'm
regret?
and
Why is it a
that's why I'm
regret?
concerned about it, because that was our neighborhood, and now we had to raise a white flag and give it to the invaders. And
No,
that's not right. That's not right.
you sound like the white man when the black man took over Compton.
No,
Like,
maybe I do. I want to protect my territory. Maybe we have the same motivation,
well, then you can
protection.
still live in Compton. I mean, nobody's making
No,
it.
no blasphemo.
Yeah. Kenneth, come on, dude. Like, I'm sorry, Kabir. Like, again, when I said I can't take Kenneth serious anymore, like, I legitimately can't, because, like, Kenneth, you're being
disingenuous.
yeah. I have to say that,
No,
and
I'm very
like,
genuine.
yeah,
I'm just
I
like
thought
this.
you were, honestly, and I'm not even gonna hold you, Kenneth. Like, and I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it, Kenneth. I thought you were stupid, and I'm not, I'm not saying, like, whatever. Like, Kenneth, you are very intelligent, and this bothers me so much now. Like, I can't take you serious in the things that you're saying.
I don't know
Like,
why not.
this really bothers me, Kenneth.
I don't know why not.
Because there's no way you can, Kenneth, you actually know this. You know these things. Like, the things that Kabir is saying, it's not like you don't know these things.
Yeah, me and Clarence Thomas are a lot alike. He's my hero.
Oh, I can tell.
But you know what, Kenneth? I grew up in California, and it's nothing better to me than the diversity, right? I love seeing diversity. No matter, you may call it invasion. It could be invasion of LGBTQ plus. It could be an invasion of Latinos. It could be an invasion of people from the Middle East. I embrace it. You know why? Because I learned different cultures and customs. And they're not the boogeyman, because remember, at one time, and we still are, black folk, we're the boogeyman.
And what other cultures do you know?
They're using you as a cudgel.
What other cultures do you know?
Oh, I've ran across people. Matter
I mean,
of fact,
I've run across a lot of people too. What cultures do you know?
My neighbor's from Pakistan, so I know a lot about the Pakistan culture.
What religion are they in Pakistan?
Muslim.
Okay, that's true.
And so is a problem with that?
No, he was trying to test your intelligence, like you wouldn't know.
And I'm a Muslim also, so I'm American.
He didn't know that, though. He just took that for granted, thinking that you were just uncultured, uncivilized, and that's
she
where
said
he was
she embraces other cultures. I just don't think many people do that.
Because, Kenneth, the world. You try to jump on Santana and say that he needs more whiskers, right? I think you need more. I don't grow whiskers, but if I did, you'd need more whiskers to be compared to me.
I just envy Santana's youth. That's all. I just envy his youth. That's all. I didn't mean any disrespect.
No. Once you quit, see, I find that a lot of people, they're so busy worried about other people that they can't worry about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You see, there's a saying. It goes, it would behoove all of us to talk about none of us. Oh, I forget the saying. When I get it, Santana, I'm gonna inbox you and leave it.
Please.
It must not be that important.
Stop it, Kenneth.
Wow.
If you've forgotten about it, then it must not be.
By me being an older woman, Kenneth, you know how it is when you get old, your mind dwindles away.
I remember Joe Biden. I remember. So
okay.
Just reference Joe Biden.
All right, Kenneth. Cool it. Seriously. Let me say these real quick. And Jessica, I'm gonna swap you out if you don't mind. But W's in the chat for audition. Thank you so much for that $2 donation. Also, W's in the chat for Caleb. What up, Caleb? Who sent a $1.99 YouTube super chat to say, often intelligent people cannot handle being wrong. I kind of feel like that's where it's at. Like, This is really bothering me. This is really bothering me. Like, this is really bothering me, but I think that you're absolutely right. Guys, that means that we are now only $180 away from closing out our nightly donation goal. There's 288 people here. If 180 people send $1, we can close out our nightly donation goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. All the pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Santana Speaks 24. Best way to support the live. Everything is accepted. Anything is appreciated. And with that being said, Evelina, thank you so much for that $10 donation to say W for diversity. Listen, absolutely. Thank you so much for that $10 donation. Like, diversity is the key to success. I mean, I think for anyone to believe that having diversity is a negative thing, you don't understand how much value it is to actually be able to compare notes with people who aren't like you, because you get perspectives that you would not get if you did not do so. So thank you so much for that $10 donation. You're absolutely amazing. You're far too kind. That means we're only $170 away from closing out the nightly donation goal. Jessica, anything before I swap you out real quick?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Kenneth a question.
Sure.
So, I'm a little bit confused, Kenneth. So you say that we're under the invasion, right? But yet our borders are closed. How can that be possible to have it both ways?
Well, Biden let the invaders in. It's like the Trojan horse.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're already in the sanctuary. We just have to get them.
That wouldn't necessarily be an invasion, though. An invasion is people coming in still, right?
Yeah, the invaders are already here. They set up camp and they're ready to wage.
Sure, I hear you. Jessica, thank you so much for coming up. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. I'll
Right.
be here if anything comes up about disabilities and stuff like that. You know how to DM me.
Absolutely, thank you. All right. Kabir, I want to let you finish, and even more so, Kabir, I definitely want to hear your thoughts on the not only the background, but having a more of an understanding as far as like where we are with the fact that it feels like this actual country is heading towards authoritarian rule. And I mean, I don't know if you heard this earlier, but Kenneth actually believes that we need strong leaders like Hitler, like Stalin, like Mussolini, like Mao, like Putin. He thinks that this country needs that. So, Kabir, what do you think?
I think that, Kenneth, a lot of immigrants who came from those countries to over here, what did they come over here for? To get away from that type of ruling, right? From authoritarianism, fascism, right?
Or to make money. To take part in the growing America. That's probably what, to fill their pockets. That's probably what it really was.
And even if you ask Cubans, why did they leave Cuba? A lot of them, they love their home country, but they didn't like the direction their country was going with dictators.
I know Castro took their land.
So with that said, Kenneth, those people see it. Right?
Yeah, Castro took their land. Yeah.
And if you studied world history, right?
All right.
I don't know if you learned world history when you went to school.
I'm well versed. I'm a graduate.
Before this conversation, Kabir, I would have said he absolutely has no idea. After talking to him for this last 30 minutes or so, he absolutely knows. That's exactly the thing that's bothering me.
Yeah.
But I'll say this, Santana, and then you can drop me. How much are you short from your nightly goal?
Oh, we only have $170 to close out the nightly goal.
Okay, folks. So give up between all of us. How many we have here? 291 people. Mm-hmm. Everybody pitch in something. If you can get it to 100, I'll throw in 100 for you.
Oh, Kabira, thank you, guys. Listen, Kabira just threw down the gauntlet. If we get $70, she says she'll close it out because she's a big stepper.
All right,
thank you, Kabira. You're so kind.
I know you have a good night, okay? And Kenneth, I'll pray for you, brother. I'll pray for you.
Thank you, Kabira. I appreciate you so much.
All right, bye-bye.
Let's introduce Dr. Steele. Dr. Steele, how are you? Dr. Steele, are you there? Dr. Steele, can you hear me? All right, we're going to give Dr. Steele a second. We're going to give Dr. Steele a second. Oh, hold on. That's who I meant to bring up. That's who I meant to bring up. There you are. There you are. Hey, Audition.
Tana, how are you, King?
I am good. How are you?
I am very, very blessed. You brought me to tears. I had the same situation with my grandma, and it was like 4 weeks, but it's same situation, same thing.
I
By the
don't
time
want
we
to do too
learned
much
about
because
it,
it's gonna hit me
I
again.
know,
And
I know. I was
but
in the
like
car phone.
people don't understand. Like yeah.
And
That's
she
why
was
I have
super
not been
young.
engaging in it. So
She was super young when it happened. She was only 62.
Yeah.
So, you know, and there are no words. I don't want to talk about it, but I just wanted to come up and just remind all of us the insidiousness of these type of conversations with people who knowingly know better. And we have to remember that I literally got flagged when I first was on TikTok because I was telling people that I was getting letters from the Republican Party asking for blackface to go on social media, and they would walk us through what they wanted us to say. They would walk us through all the different types of things they want, the trigger words, if you will, to say. So most of these people, I like to refer to them as Canadians. They do this for the bag and not to help people, because you can't be really, really intelligent and know the history of this country and allow yourself to stand 10 toes down with a triple K and think that that's a good thing.
That's why I struggle so much with this.
And then you twist yourself in a pretzel and call people invaders when you have South Africans buying their way into this country, and they are not under any distress. They're leaving beautiful homes and coming here with money and buying our American farmland for pennies on the dollar. It doesn't make any sense to allow these types of people to continuously lie in our faces and play in our faces. That's why I never ask them a question. That's why I never talk to them directly, because they're not worth it. I don't want to talk to Charles Manson directly because they're disingenuous to their core. And I mean, even serial unalivers were very, very intelligent, very, very manipulative. And remember, they were being paid to do this to their own people. They were being paid to do this with it. And I had to sign an NDA before I accepted the assignment to do it. And I was a registered Republican at the time, and I've never voted Republican because I know the history of this country. I've never voted conservative. But I wanted to see what they were saying. They were offering these jobs. These people are paid to do this a lot of times, and they're still getting this money. The same way that Stephen A. Smith is now being paid by the GOP to run independent to try to mess up the 2028 election. They're setting it up now. They're playing a long game. That's why these Canadians continue to be on the floor and talk all this nonsense. They can't make it make sense that we're all out of resources, but we're bringing in the Afrikaans. They have enough money for the white tea Afrikaans. So it's just a joke, and it's insidious, and it's disgusting, and it's hurtful to our community. And like the other Kenneth was saying, it's dangerous.
Yeah. I tell you what, and Audition, before this conversation, because again, I want to be very clear. This conversation isn't a MAGA conversation. This isn't about MAGA. This is about the way that the country's heading towards authoritarian rule. And before having this conversation with Kenneth, I thought that he was, just one of the founding members of BLAGA, right? I mean, I thought that was who he was and what he was about. But I did not expect the level of intelligence that he's displayed, and now I Hey, thank you, Frey. Now I just I question Kenneth, like who you are, and even listening to Audition just speak right now, I question who you are even more, because like none of this makes sense and even for you to sit here and say, like when we went through those authoritarian leaders and for you to give praise to certain ones, like Kenneth, come on now.
Remember the 5013C that was sending out these work invitations to comment on these social media chats was called Operation Disrupt. The only plan was to stop for dissemination of real information, to disrupt real information. So we can keep you going down a rabbit hole and keep you looking for shit and asking silly questions and giving analogies and pontificating. It was just to disrupt. It was called Operation Disrupt.
Yeah, I don't like any of the dictators you named. I mean, I don't really hate Mussolini, but the rest of them I despise. So you're kind of wrong in your characterization of how I feel about them. I think they were despicable people, mass murderers. But
but when I said Putin, you called him a strong. You what did you say about Putin? Because it sounded like you were praising him.
As I said, he was a strong man.
Mm.
He's a Russian strong man, just like Nikita Khrushchev before him. So it's just it's traditional for them to have those type of leadership. It's in their culture. So I don't begrudge that.
Audition, you see what I'm saying though? Listen to this man speak now.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about?
It's
like,
foolishness. How can you
come on now?
Shot down that pew down one of our airplanes with over almost 300 people on it, and you call him a strong man? It makes no sense. See, you can't talk to people that are psychologically in a different place than we are.
I disagree. It makes sense when it makes perfect sense if they're a paid actor.
Yeah, if I'm not in my emotion like Audition. She's really emotional, so I don't play in those.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't play in those.
I think Audition came up here with a logical stance and literally actually brought something that I wasn't thinking about to the table. Give me 1 second. Dr. Still, are you there? Okay, Dr. Still, I'm gonna drop you. W's in the chat for Lynetta. Lynetta sent $10 towards the nightly donation goal. And said, keep fighting the good fight. Absolutely will. Thank you so much for that $10. Guys, so technically, just an FYI, technically we are what is it? $158 away from closing out the nightly donation goal. But Kabira has said if we can get to $100 flat, meaning if we get 58 more dollars, Kabira will close out the nightly donation goal. So if we have 58 people that'll send $1, then we can close out the nightly goal because Kabira will close it out for us. So if you like the information, education, entertainment, please consider donating. Everything is accepted. Anything is appreciated. If you're over on YouTube and you want to support the live, you can support through a YouTube super chat where I will read your message off. And also make sure you're liking the stream over on YouTube. Audition, not to cut you off because where are they? Oh, darn it. I just had someone up here who wanted to speak to you, Kenneth, but where's this? Hold on, let me try to invite them back up. Also, guys, W's in the chat. Drop some coconuts in the chat for Jessica Simone. I see you, Jess. What up, Jess? Guys, if you did not have an opportunity to see today, we actually did our Culture and Chaos podcast live. The Culture and Chaos podcast live. If you missed it, it is on YouTube. We will have it posted to all of the other platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon. Amazon Music, all of the places. So if you missed it, please go catch it. But the live podcast was crazy. It was so good. So make sure that you actually check it out. And hold on. W's in the chat for Kabira. Kabira said, I'm tired of waiting around. Kabira said, close the goal. I'm getting sleepy. I'll pray for Kenneth. Kabira sent a whole donation to close out.
Before I leave?
I'm sorry?
May I say something, please? I know Kenneth. Let me tell you something, bro. That man ain't even vote. He did not even vote for this.
Yeah, he didn't vote in this past election. Yep.
And he's just a liar. And
What do you mean?
that's all it is, man. Click baits and views. That's all he about, man. This man is just he's funny. He's a clown. He gets me stuck in every panel all the time. Kenneth is just Kenneth.
Kenneth is Kenneth. Do you know Kenneth personally?
No, I don't. I do not know him personally, but I do know him from the app. You know what I'm saying? Like he goes to different panels and talk the same bullshit all the time.
Yeah, he's a fan. He's a fan.
I'm not language. My mom watches this live, so we want to make sure we keep it clean. But yeah, no, listen. I thought the same thing as well. I thought you were saying that you knew him personally because, like, I don't understand it personally, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm TikTok famous, of course, and he's a fan. I appreciate you. He should donate.
This man gets debunked all the time, my brother. He's just a waste of time.
Thank you for the cake.
He talks all this crap for look. He got nothing. Believe me, bro. He's just talking. That's all it is with him.
I hate when people say I get paid. This is like volunteer work. I got like 10 coins. Ain't nobody paying me.
Yeah,
I'm broke.
I disagree with that. I disagree. I absolutely disagree with that because Kenneth, I legitimately don't think that you are who you say you are anymore now. Like, to NY hates Trump's point. Like, yeah, you're all over the app for sure. But I think to Audition's point, like, something in the milk ain't clean, Kenneth. And
did he tell you why he couldn't vote?
I see a lot of
hey, Kenneth,
creators
did you tell him why you didn't vote?
all over the app. I see
yeah,
a lot of
Did he tell you why he didn't vote?
Yeah, he said that it was because his family didn't want him to vote for Trump.
No, that's a lie. Kenneth, tell the truth now. It was your girlfriend. Let's be honest here, Kenneth. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, it was wifey and my.
So why you lied to these people then?
No, and we in cahoots with my mother and my daughters. They were concerned.
Sure. Okay, so look. I listen. I appreciate you coming up and sharing that. And listen, I hear you. I'm gonna go ahead and drop you down. I appreciate you coming up. I don't want to get too bogged down because again,
no problem,
I don't want this to necessarily be a MAGA live because it's not about MAGA. But yeah, we know Kenneth. At least I thought we knew Kenneth, and now. Again, having this conversation, I don't understand how Kenneth could cape for authoritarian rule, but we're still here. Real quick, Omega, I know you had your hand up. I want to come back to you for a second, then I'm gonna swap you out. What did you have?
One thing that I that was getting on my nerves that everybody was saying is that he's intelligent. That's not intelligent. I mean, no, he knows things. He knows he has knowledge of things. You can't group intelligence and knowledge of things in the same sense because intelligence actually means problem solving skills, knowing the difference of right and wrong, and knowledge is book smarts. Actually knowing facts. He knows facts. He has knowledge of some things. He's not intelligent.
I hear, bro. Listen,
he cannot.
Listen, I hear you. I feel you. I'm not disagreeing with you on the premise of what you're saying, but you know that I've talked to enough people to be able to. The one thing that gets me more than anything, it grinds my gears, is when people are disingenuous, right? Like that's the thing that gets me, and I have a pretty good BS barometer, and you can't fake the funk. Yeah. And Kenneth really set it off. He really set it off. And so I'm not going to say that he's book smart. Kenneth is intelligent. He is. I'm not going to take that away from him.
I'm both.
But what
book smart?
Yeah, I hear you. But the one thing that I will say is that you are disingenuous. There's no way you believe the BS that's coming out of your mouth now, Kenneth. And you cannot convince me that you do. And even more so for you to sit here and say, I could actually have a real conversation with you about the direction of the country and why I feel like that we are heading towards authoritarian rule. And I know for a fact that you could get it. And you could understand, you could comprehend it, you can actually hold this conversation with me, but for some reason you won't actually genuinely engage with it. And there's a reason why, Kenneth. There's an actual reason why.
For me, it's the whole thing of that if you can't decipher that face all the while behind your back, calling you boy, the blacks, this and that, then you, I have to question your intelligence and your comprehension levels, because if you, like I said, Trump's racism and the MAGA's racism isn't covert; it's overt. It's subtle. It's microaggressions. It's all that. It's not something that they're going to do directly in your face. Like, I mean, like a lot of MAGA say, I need to be called it first. But then when they're called it, they brush it off. So I mean,
well, bro, I mean, like, but the thing is, if he's playing in our face, why would he care if other people playing in his face?
I mean that part. But I mean, like, I will disagree to the hilt that this country is has an invasion problem. We're the this country has been called the Great Melting Pot, the beacon on the hill, for many reasons, and this country was founded on immigrants. So if for him to say that was a whole bunch of bull malarkey.
We just had our fill right now. We just had too many. Too quickly, too many, too quickly. They haven't assimilated yet. They're not true Americans. They have loyalty.
Stop it, Ken. Stop it. You know for a fact that there's no need to quote unquote assimilate within the country. Like, first and foremost, this country is not based off of any real culture. It's not based off of any, like, if you, what are people assimilating to, Kenneth? Like, are they assimilating to the racism? Are they assimilating to the fact that this country has oppressed women? Like, what are they assimilating to? Why would anyone actually assimilate to anything in this country? Because this country has not been anything that's actually been fruitful for everyone. So yes, it's better to actually take bits and pieces from. That's why when I say, like, universal healthcare, we've seen other countries actually try to get there, the steps they've taken. We've seen them, the pitfalls, and we've seen them actually be able to do it. Why not just pick those things from those other countries and then implement them here when we've seen all those other failures? Because again, Kenneth, we are not builders, we're not manufacturers. We don't make stuff. American made does not actually mean anything. We import. Let's import other good ideas from other countries.
I don't think socialized healthcare is a good idea.
I hear you.
It hurts, and I don't want to pay for other people's healthcare. I think that's
because you're selfish. Omega, listen, bro, I'm gonna drop you down. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing.
You got a lot of one more thing. You got a lot of one more thing.
Stop it, Kenneth. Stop it, seriously,
bro. I just want to say, you say that we need to assimilate these people into our culture, but you have no problem with the white South Africans coming over here and assimilating real quick because they have the right skin tone.
Yeah, I don't mind. I grew up,
bro.
I grew up in high school in the 80s protesting apartheid in South Africa, and I want to remove the white South Africans out of South Africa. Give it back to the black South Africans, and then that'll solve the problem. I don't mind if they come here. Just remove the agitators, remove the colonizers out of Wakanda, and I'll be happy. And that's my stand.
Out of Wakanda?
Yeah, it's a metaphor.
Yeah.
Yeah, metaphor.
Ken, my wife really wants me to drop you, and I don't want to drop you because, like, I think other people want to talk to you, and I really want to get back to the actual topic. But you and I are gonna have to have a real conversation, and I'm not talking about a TikTok conversation. Like, you and I are gonna have to talk for real. Real quick,
you gotta pay. You gotta pay. Game
I hear you. Don't try to
sold,
yeah. Don't try to BS me, Kenneth. I'm not even joking right now.
It's to be sold, not told. You gotta pay me to get my tutelage.
Yeah.
Now.
Well, yeah, I hear you, and I like the pay. The pay piece is the portion that I'm picking up on, Kenneth.
Yeah, we all trying to get paid. We're all capitalists here, right?
Yeah, I hear you, but paying. Listen, Kenneth.
Support the Venmo people.
How many pieces of silver is your soul worth?
I ask you the same question.
You
sold your soul to the Democratic Party.
Stop it, Kenneth.
You're trying to come back, but
Stop it, Kenneth.
You're like the
Stop it.
prodigal son.
Like literally, Kenneth, I don't believe a word that's coming out of your mouth. I don't believe that you actually believe any of these things. I don't believe that you are someone that is the founding member of BLAGA. I don't think that you actually think that Donald Trump is doing anything for the country. I know for a fact now you have exposed yourself on this live, Kenneth. Like, I'm sorry, but hey, mask off, brother.
If you check
like mask off.
If you check my profile, you see me at a
I don't
Trump
care about your profile.
Trump rally in 20 what?
Kenneth,
16,
I don't care about your profile. You cannot fake the funk.
I mean, I couldn't fake being at that rally either. I'm
yeah, I hear you, Kenneth, but I've listened to you for a long time, and this is the first time that you let your guard down enough to actually show who you really are. And Kenneth, I don't believe the facade anymore. Anyway, give me a second here, Kenneth. Give me a second. Chicago, how are you?
Good evening, Santana. How are you?
Good. Hey, so we're supposed to be on the topic of the one party rule, right? Which speaks to a couple of different things with the travel safely, which is speaking to like the actual the way that other countries are warning their citizens about coming into the US. And then not only that, the fact that that coming into the US, they are now searching even US citizens like phones and devices and stuff in order to be able to see if they are bad mouthing the president. We talk about habeas corpus, which of course they are trying to eliminate the due process and how that can actually extend forward to more than just undocumented immigrants. We're talking about the cuts trillions, which is the massive cuts that they are quote unquote implementing this big beautiful bill that's going to hurt multiple social safety nets. And then we're also talking about lock us up, specifically talking about the actual judge in Wisconsin and the Newark, New Jersey mayor who have both been arrested. And honestly, it's all just covert talking points to speak to the fact that the country is heading towards a authoritarian rule. And so the real premise behind this is talking about how do we identify authoritarian rule? How do we actually face that, protect each other, and make sure that we are protecting our country, not as left, not as right, but as a country. So with that being said, Chicago, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts is this, and then I'm gonna talk to Kenneth in a minute.
Sure.
Kenneth and I have debated before, and what I can
also just FYI, this is not a debate. My wife will remind me. Sometimes I get into debate mode.
I got you. No, I'm not in debate mode. But these are all the premises of authoritarian rule, and what history has shown us is that it's always bad to repeat history, right? Especially when you got Stalin, you got Hitler, you got people like Kenneth, unfortunately, right? So with that being said, it is more imperative now that we the people really has a significance here now. It really our forefathers, this is exactly what our forefathers tried to prevent from happening, is what is happening now. And it is essential that we as a people, but also as different demographics of people, Black and brown and actually Asian, we have the power. We have the power to stop this, and it's imperative that we stop it dead in its tracks, or what we're going to have is a repeat of this authoritarian rule back from the 1940s, 15, 16 with Stalin and Hitler and Mussolini. So it is up to us to stop this, and it's like I said, it's very essential that as Black and brown people that we stay more unified now than ever before.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question, because I think it's important to actually speak to that. Understanding that I absolutely agree with you, right? I mean, understanding history and the way that these quote unquote battles have been fought throughout the course of history, and these leaders that have rose to power and consolidated power and shifted the actual course of history. What do you like as an individual? What can we do, right? What can we do to try to fight back, or really get to a point where at the very least we are educating people on what's happening?
So what we need to do is or one of the suggestions that I would have is definitely we have to organize. We have to organize, even though we know that there are some issues within our own Democratic Party. We need to organize. Not only do we
organize a 9-volt battery.
Hold on 1 second, Kenneth.
Organize a 9-volt battery.
Kenneth, hold on 1 second. Seriously.
We
go ahead, Chicago.
We need to organize and organize under grassroots premises, right? We need to stick together, and plain and simple is that we need to vote these politicians out. We also need to have term limits. We need to have term limits in Congress. You got politicians that have been in Congress for the past 40, 50, and 60 years. So how is it that we are supposed to be progressive when we have politicians who now can influence votes, who can influence other politicians to vote their way because they know the system, right? So what we need is we need fresh bricks to build a new home or to build a new house. You can't build a new system with old bricks. It's just not going to work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Term limits. One of the key things is term limits. You know,
yes.
If the president has term limits, why does not every other single public service have term limits?
Yeah, I agree, and I think that.
I'm sorry.
I think that like term limits is something that's needed, and I think that because Kenneth was advocating for the opposite direction, right? Being able to keep power longer and to be able to kind of coalesce power. But I think that if we hold these people in check, more so with them being able to say, well, you can't stay in Congress forever, then it eliminates the desire that they have to say, oh, I need to win the next election. I need to win the next election, because we see that even when it comes to this quote unquote big, beautiful bill, the reason why I think that it's going to be passed is because these Congress members end up kowtowing in order to save themselves. So they're not primary because they just want to hold on to power, even if that means giving up some of their power in order to keep some power. Right. And so if you add term limits, then you lessen that as an actual, possibility.
Don't people vote anymore? Aren't there vote term limits? Can't you vote them out, or they king little princes and princesses?
Yeah, you understand that for a fact that one, we have a voting issue here within the United States.
I don't see
Two, a
one.
lot of people that actually, we do, because we have a majority of Americans that are registered to vote that don't vote. Also, you have issues with the way that voter suppression has been implemented, whether it's purging rolls or trying to actually suppress the vote in certain areas, and just like all these other things. And last but not least, Kenneth, you know for a fact that there are certain politicians that get in power. I know this from being from a red state in the South, specifically South Carolina, and seeing Strom Thurmond, a racist white man, hold power for a long time in a state with a ton of black people that could have voted him out of power, but they did everything possible to intimidate and make sure black people did not have the opportunity to take away Strom Thurmond's power. Like, we know how this works, Kenneth. Don't play dumb.
Including
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Don't play stupid.
Including Biden speaking in his eulogy, praising him. So Biden contributed to Strom Thurmond's power stand.
I agree.
So, I mean,
you and I don't disagree.
As long as we're clear.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not absolving any politician at all, and I think that goes back to Chicago's point, where if we are holding all the politicians accountable while with implementing term limits, then we can actually limit the harm that individual politicians can do.
Or we can have Joe Biden not endorse former.
Sure, I hear you. It's not about Biden. Chicago, go ahead and finish your point.
So with Kenneth, no vote, no voice. It's just really simple as that. You come up on these panels and you spew your BS and rhetoric out there, and yet you haven't even voted.
We all know the situation.
You praise whatever your situation was, but you come up in here in these panels and you're so disingenuous. You call us Hispanics invaders. I can sit here and give you a history lessons, but you know what? Why waste my breath?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, why waste my breath on you, Kenneth?
Yeah. Yeah.
And for the sake of your
But so-
family, change your battery, your smoke
Kenneth,
detector, sir.
Kenneth, just hold tight for 2
Save
seconds.
save them. I know there's like
Nemo
10 people in
said
the house. I know there's like 10
Strong
people
Thermal
in the
wasn't a former
that's
Triple
actually
K
the-
member.
that's actually-
Genius, absolutely. Hold on one second, Chicago.
no
E, what up, E? Chris, I see you here. I'm gonna come back to you, but give me a second. E, what up, E?
We can go to Chris first. Hi everyone.
Well, hold on. I'm coming to you first for a specific reason. Did you want to say anything to Kenneth or anything along those lines?
Well, I think Kenneth, unfortunately, Kenneth is the audience that you do want to target, especially because the new mission for you is to target those who did not vote and to have the conversations with them. So Kenneth is the person that you do want to have the conversations with. And when it comes to you, Kenneth, I do not understand because, like I did tell you earlier today, you are a very unserious person. I don't know why you think you always have to resort to comedic effect, but sir, you are not stupid.
I think
If you
entertainment.
did,
I think
hold on one
entertainment.
moment, Miss
Entertainment is
Kenneth.
key.
Kenneth,
I think
Kenneth, just hold
entertainment.
on for a second.
Oh, I thought she
Kenneth,
was done.
Yeah,
hold
hold on
on.
for a second.
Oh, she want to
You
keep
went
going.
to Hampton University, as you
Graduated.
always
Graduated.
exactly. You
You
graduated from
matriculated?
Hampton.
I did
Yeah,
matriculate.
matriculated.
I did
Yes,
matriculate.
from Hampton University, one of the best HBCUs in this country.
Absolutely.
It's not easy to get into Hampton. It's not easy to graduate from Hampton. All right, Kenneth, and you did that. You are not an unintelligent man.
Mm.
You know your stuff. I'm
Mm.
surprised that Santana is just catching on to this because I've been caught on.
I
think I actually
feel.
even told you this before,
Whew.
but I've seen you debate people. I've seen you on Dead Trail's panel and the people that he brings on, and I've seen you debate them, and you've actually done a good job. It's just that for whatever reason, Kenneth, you never want to take it seriously. You always have to resort to jokes, insults, or whatever it is. Like when the conversation's actually getting somewhere to where it could be productive, you derail it with that.
He's
And I
tried a
don't
couple times, E.
exactly. You're doing a great job of keeping it on track. It's
Yeah,
just
but
Kenneth.
because you know how I derail.
It's just
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
I don't know why
he cracks
you do
that
it.
whip
hold
pretty
on,
well.
Kenneth.
He cracks that whip pretty well. He does.
Yeah.
Oh,
Go ahead and finish
God.
your point, E.
No, it's that I did have something else, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait on the
For
last
Kenneth?
part. That's not for Kenneth. No,
Okay,
it's
cool.
the ancestors thing.
W's in the chat for D-Spec. What up, D-Spec, who sent a $2 donation saying, what's Biden got to do with the price of tea in China? Absolutely. It's always, what about Biden? We know that. W's in the chat for D-Spec. Thank you so much, guys. Let's do the wonderful things, right? Keep tapping the screen. Let's get the likes up to 150,000 likes. Let's knock out the tiny dinies if you don't mind. Let's gift the beautiful panel that I currently have. Let's do all the wonderful things. You guys are absolutely amazing. And can I still get some W's in the chat for Kabira? Kabira said she don't play no games. Kabira came through big stepping, saying that you guys were taking too long to knock out the nightly donation goal. So Kabira said, I'ma just do it. Kabira said, fine, I'll do it myself. It's one of my favorite Thanos lines. Anyway, guys, keep doing all the wonderful things. This is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do, and this is why I said, anyone else have anything? Miss Nana, are you still there?
Yeah.
Did you have anything else that you want to say to Kenneth?
I've been sitting here just Kenneth. He a bit much.
He is.
But the playing in people's faces just the part that's just beyond me. I don't know. He feel like an insider to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know he that plant.
Yeah. So Miss Nana, I'm gonna go ahead and say this. Kenneth. So my wife has been on the back end saying, when are you gonna drop him? When are you gonna drop him? Right.
Me too.
Yeah. Kenneth, I haven't dropped you because one, I mean, like, again, this is a stark change from every other time that you and I have spoken. And even more, like I don't do disingenuous people, right? And Kenneth, having the conversation with you that I had tonight, it really opened my eyes to how and I will give you this credit. I like Omega tried to take it away from you earlier, and I will not take this away from you. You are a very intelligent man. I will never, ever say that you are not, Kenneth. You have my respect as far as being an intelligent person. You genuinely do. But at the same time, you are a disingenuous person. There's no way you can absolutely believe the things that are coming out of your mouth. I don't believe you at all. I don't think that you're genuine. I don't think that you actually are here for any other purpose except sowing seeds of chaos. And I can't have that. Thank you for the coral. I can't have that. Kenneth, I'm going to drop you. And like I said, I would love for you and I to actually talk, and not on like TikTok talk, but to talk for real. But Kenneth, like from now on, I'm sorry, I can't have you back on my panels anymore, just because I don't believe you are who you say you are, and I can't have that. So I appreciate you coming up.
That's a fact, Jack. Okay, going back on mute.
Yep. All righty. Chris, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Miss Nana.
And the sad part of that, he could have been a real good attribute to us.
That bothers me so bad. It bothers me so much.
Right.
It bothers me so much.
I was sitting here shaking my head. I'm like, what a waste.
If he was actually unintelligent, I would be like, all right, whatever. That's just him. He's not.
My great uncle used to say that that's an educated dummy right there.
That's why I said, how many pieces of silver is worth your soul?
That part. Because with him on our team,
it's not even about that. Like I understand that not, different strokes for different folks, but like there's yeah, I mean, like, so I tell people this all the time, because certain people like, oh, you're paid by the DNC or whatever. Like if somebody was willing to pay me to do something or say stuff that I actually believe, like that's a win, right? That's an easy win for me. But I refuse to absolutely say and do stuff that I don't believe. Like I can't do that because one, I wouldn't sound genuine. Two, like it would bother me so much. But like, man, yeah.
That's too much. I'm finna go back on mute, baby.
Yeah, thank you so much. Chris, floor is yours. What would you like to add to the premise that the country is heading towards authoritarianism?
One thing that I did want to add to the conversation was when I was listening to E's live earlier today. Mm-hmm. I saw that you were there and you were talking, or you were asking a panelist a question of what was the average lifespan of a country, and mm-hmm. you said 250 years, and we were at 249. Mm-hmm. I strongly believe that things that are happening.
Thank you for the heart hands.
I strongly believe that the things that are happening now are indicative of that timeline. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I completely agree. And even more so, Chris, that's why this conversation has to happen, right? This conversation has to happen because, again, like I want to make sure that everyone understands that this is not a left conversation. This is not a right conversation. This is an American conversation. And if you can't see the direction that the country is heading, then we're in jeopardy. And it's about not only identifying this, but being able to logically think it through and then also talk about solutions. That's why I said, Chicago, hey, like, what do we do? Right. And then Chicago gave answers, and like, we have to figure this out because literally, I think we're going to lose the country.
Mm-hmm. And I think that one of the big solutions that I feel like we need to do is I know where your stance is when it comes to the non-voters and the third-party voters, mm-hmm. but I really feel like having those conversations with those folks mm-hmm. and trying to see things from the perspective of, mm-hmm. let's say, progressives or people on the left is very imperative, because that could very much be the difference in our future elections. And then also helping register those folks who are newly found U.S. citizens. Like, for example, my mom. I'm gonna try my hardest to help her study for the U.S. citizenship test so she can vote in 2028.
Yeah.
I feel like her voice needs to be heard along with other people who need to get registered to vote, because that can make a really big difference.
Yeah, I completely agree. And so just to give you a bit of insight, so I know, listen, there's only a few of us hanging out. So chat, if I tell you something, will everyone in the chat promise not to tell anybody I said this? If I can tell you a secret and you guys promise not to share the secret with anybody, I'll tell you. So can I get a confirmation in the chat? Can you say yes, that you promise not to tell anyone? If you guys promise not to tell anyone, I'll tell you guys something. Pinky promise, okay. All right. April said yes. Mama Rebel said yes. Really, nah. Nope said yes. Okay. All right.
I firmly
All right.
say no.
You said no.
I said no.
Okay. We mods block E.
Damn.
Block her. Get her out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it going to be that deep, bro? You don't want to.
Oh, I escalate quickly.
No, but I'm saying maybe you want to send this in encrypted. I don't know.
No.
What do you okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So you guys know my background that I use for sparring, or I've been using lately for sparring, and it says non-voters or third-party voters are the worst. Send it over Signal is wild. It says that non-voters and third-party voters are the worst. Chris, I say that tongue in cheek, understanding that one, it's a bit inflammatory, and it's made to invoke an actual response to get them on the panel, because I completely agree with you. Those are the people that we have to reach. Those are the people that I want to speak to the most, more than speaking to people on the left, more than speaking to people on the right. The people that didn't vote, those are the people that I want to be so upset by me calling them the worst that they are actually willing to get in the box and say, how dare you call me the worst? And then once I get an opportunity to actually speak to them, then that's where we have the conversation, because I think those are the most important people that we can try to engage with. And so, yeah, I say that they're the worst, but really they're just the most important, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but you guys can't tell. No, listen, nobody tell any of them that I said that.
What was he just talking about? I didn't hear him.
No, no. He was saying how we need to engage.
Sarcasm, Santana.
Yeah.
He was being facetious.
That was no, not facetious. That was me. Like, you guys never heard about? No, forget it. I don't want to talk about it.
It was pejorative.
Santana, can I say what?
I learned that word last night.
That was good. I like that. I haven't heard that word in a while.
Yeah.
That was good.
Can I say one more thing before I drop?
Sure, go ahead.
This is he's not here anymore, but this is in response to Kenneth. I will say this with my entire chest, 1,000 times out of 10. I am so damn proud to be Afro-Latino. I am so damn proud to be able to speak 2 languages fluently. I'm so damn proud of my culture. I'm damn proud of being who I am. And that's it. I love being Latino.
Absolutely. Chris, I appreciate you coming up. I realize I don't have my timer, but I'm gonna start kind of letting people down, because we know we got t-shirt time at the top of the hour. So Chris, thank you so much for coming up. I appreciate you. I love you. I'm gonna go ahead and drop you down, brother.
Sounds good. Have a good evening. Bye, E. Love you.
Have a great night.
Tech. What is it? Tech. Hold on. Tech food travel. How are you?
How are you doing? I'm good, man.
Good. Now you sound like far away. I can barely hear you.
1 second. Let me get closer. Do you hear me now?
Yes. Tech food travel. What would you like to add to the conversation?
Well, no. So do you want me to answer the prompt? I know that
The prompt was a little bit misleading. I mean, there's multiple points to actually speak to, and even more so, it says under one party rule. But the underlying conversation is more about the way that the country is barreling towards an authoritarian rule.
Yeah, I
And
think we're
so,
there. I
say
think
it
we're
again?
there already. I think we're there already.
Talk to me then.
Yeah, so like I was in the army for a few years, right? And I worked like I was in support of basically a combat arms unit, right? So I was around those guys for like ever, and some of the things like they say, I'm like but in reality, strategy and tactically, that a lot of the things they say, it kind of like it's very meaningful, like if you if if you think there's an enemy, there's probably an enemy. If you tell it, you get if you it looks if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. You know what I'm saying? You could argue with it all you want. You know what I'm saying? You could say, well, you could say either woe is me, this is not right, this is not fair. If you could go to the law, go to the law. But when you start seeing people trying to circumvent the law, that's what it is, bro. That's what it is. I mean, we don't want to. I mean, the reality is, I mean, from my perspective, what I feel is that they're trying to just push certain things back, take certain things away, and it starts out real small, and they get a few people to join it. This is pre-war Germany.
Yeah, I've kind of been on that same kick, right? And again, I fancy myself a bit of a historian. I love history. One of the things that I used to do is compare 1932 Germany to 2025 USA, and I understand all of these things, and so I agree with you. And even more so, one, thank you for your service. I appreciate you for who you are, but two, now you have a burden, you have a responsibility. Now that you have actually not only told me that not only that you peep game, but you have experience. The thing that I'm going to do is lay the burden at your feet to tell me, like, what do we do? Like, what's the next steps? How do we protect each other? Two, how do we fight back? Like, what are your thoughts?
So there's a couple of things. Some certain people are not going to like the answers to these questions, right?
Okay, it's going to get uncomfortable, but we can do it.
So historically, there's a playbook for fighting authoritarianism. Certain people are already enacting it. Certain people have already left, like America, and went to other places, and from there they're doing their campaigns, right? And they're like, but I would say that those would be the early movers into that protection thing. What we're doing now, like by speaking about it, is that's important, and that we're challenging, and we're even saying to people in MAGA, like, hey, listen, don't hate us because we're disagreeing with you. It's American to disagree. But what usually happens in an authoritarian environment is that their supporters say, well, no, it's not. Right? You didn't like this, but that's what happens. It goes back and forth and back and forth, and maybe something happens to cull it. But the reality is that we're dealing with a nationalist. That's what they're the other word forgets, but it's a nationalist something. That's what we are, right? A nationalist socialist movement.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. And the only way, like, it's not a thing that we can win. We just gotta battle. That's it. We just gotta battle. We gotta speak up. If you're expecting it we're not gonna go back to Barack Obama. We're not.
We shouldn't want to either, though. Like, that's the thing.
I mean, I tell you, not a bad idea.
Bro, listen, this is why I say no, right? And I said this earlier, and I've been saying this a lot lately as well, right? Barack Obama would be a safety blanket. He would make people feel comfortable, right? We love Barack Obama, but going back to Barack Obama would be one of the worst things for our country, because he is someone who I mean, he's not progressive. And I legitimately mean this, and I say this country, like, we're so far behind, whether you talk about education, whether you talk about healthcare, whether you talk about infrastructure, like, we're so far behind. And going back to a safe and comfortable space is never going to get us to where we need to be. So we need someone that's progressive. We need someone that's going to say, like, we can't just continue to do the things that we've done. The reason why that we keep going back and forth from Republican to Democrat, because there hasn't been a strong enough movement from the left to get people to continue to vote left, and that's why they go back and forth. Now, the negative part to that is that the right identified this way before the left, and so what they've done is
they found their dark version.
Exactly,
It's
right there. And they're implementing those things to make sure that they could listen. You're speaking my language this whole time. You've been speaking my language.
Yeah, because I knew when I mentioned not going back to Barack, it was kind of like figuratively, as we're talking about, like, where, like, his biggest issue was cleaning up what the Republicans were dealing with, and that he chose a fly suit. That's what I meant, like that. Not necessarily, because to me, when people were like, "Oh, he didn't solve all issues in our community," I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I got news for you. We need to solve some issues in our community." You know what I'm saying?
Let me say something real quick, because I see this in the chat, right? And I see Gregory Mars said he literally legalized gay marriage. You're right. You're absolutely right. But then the next person right behind you, Ellie, W's in the chat for Ellie, called out specifically the point. Ellie said he was progressive for 2008, I think. You're absolutely right. And that's the whole point. Barack Obama, yes, he definitely did some great things, in my opinion. But for us to go back to where he was and who he was in a time that we should be moving forward way past that, it's not what we need. And so, yeah, I mean, I will never, like, I love Barack Obama, but
remember the context of which I'm saying, though. I'm only talking about.
No. It was someone in the chat that said it, not you. It caught my attention. I just had to address that.
So basically, right now we're in a spirit of contention, and someone has, and I don't think, I think that for there to be there is a way that we could do a victory flag thing. There is a way, right? But it's not going to be nice, and it's going to be if DJT basically eats it, like, so bad. Like, I don't even want to be right about this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, he has to eat it so bad that it hurts everyone so bad.
Well, I will say, when has revolution ever been comfortable?
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I don't really want to, I mean, like, listen, not COVID, C-19 was a hard one for me. I will not lie to you. C-19 was a hard one for me. Hard. And I'm like, bro, I'm like, airborne, like, come on, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like,
listen, I think you and I need to have a conversation, not on TikTok.
Yeah,
like, I think you and I need to talk.
Yeah, but I
because you've been speaking my language this entire time.
Yeah, I was shocked at how it. I mean, damn near, like, if I didn't do certain things, I think it would have took me under. And I'm honestly going to tell you, even what another part that happened with the C-19 was when the level of the amount of people that were not working, and then that led to the protests that also turned into riots, because there's a difference between protests and rioting. And I think that many of those rioters, that they weren't of the protest ilk. I think they just gave because no one was working, no one was doing anything, and it activated those the Boogaloo Boys, the Proud Set, all that. It just gave them, you know what I'm saying? Because that's really what they want. Like, they actually have, as part of their thing, a kind of let's have it all out thing. You know what I'm saying? That's part of their thing. And so I felt like when all that was going on, I just looked at certain things. I was like, man, I was like, Mark, you know, that I was calling myself out my government. I was like, bro, you can't run 100 meters and dump a half a clip down anything. You know what I'm saying? And there's people, listen, when you look at J6, I don't even know why some of those guys want to even do it. How, like the casualties in J6, one person caught a pew pool, the other 3 or 4 basically passed from cardiac arrest.
Mm-hmm.
If that ain't telling you that, yo, we're not like a fit country like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like people,
Yep.
people should be like, yo, nah, I ain't got time for this, man. There's a little barbecue. You know what I mean? But people want to find out. And so it's so to wrap up what I was saying is that I think the only way is if he eats it so bad that his supporters basically say, yo, you know what? Next.
Yep. Yeah. I you know what? And I'm gonna leave it there. And I hope you come back. We're gonna be talking about this all week. And matter of fact, I need you to shoot me a DM because you and I need to talk, because I think that there is way more to that than just saying, oh, they're gonna eat it, or he has to eat it because they're in a cult. So there's that. So
Kool-Aid. The Kool-Aid is hard. Kool-Aid is hard. Remember, look what Jim Jones Kool-Aid did.
Yeah. And we're not talking about bowling. Anyway, listen, I appreciate you coming up. Thank you so much. You were awesome.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
All right, so I want to do this real quick. Chicago, any quick last words for you before I drop you down?
I'm good. You can go ahead and drop me down.
Okay, I appreciate you coming up. Thank you so much for what you added here tonight.
No problem. Thank you, Santana. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Audition.
Just one real quick thing, just tagging off of what Tech was saying. It's not about him tanking it. Ronald Reagan tanked poor white tea people just as much as he tanked poor black people. It's about hate. And unless we stop normalizing these hateful racist people and giving them a safe haven to show their racism, what Donald Trump did was allow them to let their worst angels appear. That's what he gave them cover for that. And so with them, the hate, they've been allowing themselves to take away all their financial resources, to give it to the rich because they thought it was only going to hurt us. And it literally gutted the middle class. So it's about hate. It's not about him tanking it, because Nebraska is going to be bankrupt in a little bit. They're already selling off their land for pennies on a dollar. Family farms that have been around for hundreds of years, they're selling them off. So it's not about them losing money. It's about them thinking they're doing something to these bad LGBTQ people, these bad trans people, these bad black people, these bad Mexicans. Keep them in their place. And unless we change that and stop letting racist ass Nana and Papa get away with this, it's gonna keep happening.
Yep. I completely agree. W's in the chat for E. I appreciate you, E. Yeah, I completely agree, right? And even more so, like, it's the anonymity.
You're pulling on me.
I know, right? I don't know what's been happening lately. I've been kind of tongue tied, but being able for them to throw rocks and hide their hand, and then even more so now, it's them being able to throw rocks, and then for other people to say, well, you know what, that rock wasn't that big. That rock didn't hurt so much. And for people given that blanket coverage for people to exist in a racist state, exist in a safe haven, exist without being called out and being ostracized. I'll say this, my buddy GT has been hyper fixated on the point as far as like, we need to not only call out these people who exist in these racist cocoons, but to ostracize them, to make sure that people understand that this is not acceptable. These are not the good people. This is not a thing that other people should be doing. And like, we have to do that. It's necessary. It's absolutely necessary. And we have to do that, and we will do it.
Hear me up, King. Just wanted to
Thank you so much. You know how much I appreciate you.
always. See you later. See you later, Erica.
Have a good one.
Audition. Have a great night.
Okay. Real quick, guys. Real quick, couple of really quick things. W's in the chat for Terry. Terry sent a $25 donation to say for the humanity. Terry, thank you so much for the $25 donation. You are absolutely far too kind. Thank you so much for supporting the live. I listen. I am genuinely blown away by the kindness that everyone continues to show, and it is appreciated. Especially, like I say this all the time, like the economy is tough. The place that we're in today, it's tough, and for anyone that is willing to even send $1, that means so much to me because you don't have to do it, and I know what you're sacrificing. So anytime anyone donates anything, I don't take that for granted. I appreciate you all. Thank you. One thing that I will take for granted though, and I will say, hey, can you get me? If you're not following this account, right? I know people are looking in there saying, oh, I thought I was following you, Santana. The main account is in purgatory. I hope that we can get it back, but we may not, right? And if we gotta, if we don't get the main account back and we got to build this one up brick by brick, then we will build it up brick by brick. So with that being said, if you're not, if you thought you were following me, double check. Just if you see a follow up at the top, if it says follow, that means you're not following me. So go ahead and click the follow button and make sure that you're actually following me. And we'll go from there. If we get the main back and we get the main back, then we'll be good. If not, then we'll just have to build this one up. But make sure you are actually following me, because a lot of people might see me and think they are, but they're not. So there's that. Thank you for everyone that's following now. Look, you guys are freaking amazing. E, you said you what do you have? I hope you check Discord, but what do you have?
Oh, give me 1 second.
Yep. While Erica is taking her 1 second, the last thing that I will say, guys, is listen, if you're here tonight, and we will be going to also shout out Nemo. Nemo, I see you hanging out in here. How are you, friend? Guys, I think this conversation is going to be super important, and more so important where it's not about MAGA, right? It's not about MAGA, and I'm hoping that people start to see the shift in what I'm trying to do, right? Because I'm genuinely trying to make a shift away from saying we need to focus on MAGA, because I disagree. We don't need to focus on MAGA. I genuinely don't believe that we need to focus on MAGA at all. I think we need to focus on what we are going to do to actually reach those non-voters, what we're going to do to protect each other, what we're going to do to build our community, how we're going to actually focus on those things. And I have a couple of different things that I'm trying to do. I'm planning. I'm like all of these things. And I'm hoping to be able to do a lot of different things. I promise you, like, your boy's cooking up some stuff. I'm cooking up some stuff. And I'm really hoping that I get an opportunity to do like some of these things that I really want to do. And so I hope everyone gets an opportunity to see the shift in the platform where we're not just talking to MAGA or focusing on Trump or whatever. Like I'm trying to make sure on late nights you will never see Trump's name on a background ever again. Unless there's something massive that happens, you will never see Donald Trump's name on a background and on late nights again, because it's not about him. It's about us. It's about our community. It's about our focus. So there's that. So hopefully you guys will see that. E, floor is yours.
Okie dokie. Hi. So acts of resistance. We need acts of resistance. One thing about the system that we live in is that it keeps us in fear of losing our livelihood, fear of losing our comfort. People back then, the people who fought against, the National Socialist Party, people who, marched for civil rights, people during Black people during slavery who picked up a pen, who picked up a book and read. Those were acts of resistance, daily resistance. We have to have acts of resistance, and we can't be afraid. That is the only way that we're going to be able to defeat this, is that we are not afraid. All right. I'm gonna leave it.
Afraid
Yeah, I'm just
to
gonna leave
take a
it at
stand.
that. And I would say that
Everybody,
I wish you stopped singing.
come take my hand
Please. I
and
beg.
walk this road together through the storm.
I'm
I'm
not
sorry,
doing
E, go
this.
ahead.
I'm trying to be serious, and here you are. Good grief. But no, seriously, acts of resistance. We really, really need that, and we need leadership.
Yeah.
Who is going to lead us? That is the question. Who is going to lead us in this fight against authoritarian? Say the word for me. Yeah, like the A word.
Authoritarianism.
Authoritarianism. We're gonna need who's gonna lead us in this fight, and that's what we need, because there were Malcolms, there were Meggers.
E.
We.
Listen, E, listen, I know I haven't said this to you, but I truly think this, and this is what I really believe. The reason why I'm talking about this, and the reason why I'm like hyper focused on this, is because I know I've said this to you before, and I've said this to other people. Like we fall into the category as quote unquote the new media, right? And like we are the people that understand, and we see it, we know what's happening, and we now shift to being the leaders. Eric, we have a responsibility, we have an obligation, me and you. There's people's hundreds or thousands of people that tune in to listen to us speak every day. They send, donations, they tap the screen, they sit in our lives, they share the lives, they send us DMs, they do all of these different things. You and I have responsibilities, we have obligations, we now have the burden of leadership, and it's on us.
Okay, so I'm just gonna message you, and
I hear you.
I'm solution driven. Like I'm
I
solution
know.
focused. All right, so like, what's
I
the
said
plan?
I'm cooking up some stuff. When I'm ready to share, I'll share.
Oh, you and his cooking. Okay,
You
great.
know
But yes,
how I do stuff.
acts of resistance. Acts of resistance, and we just can't be afraid. So that's my whole thing. So that's all. That's it. But thanks, bro, for having me. I
That's all.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right,
All right.
I'm gonna go now.
Thank you, E. I appreciate you. Bye. Miss Nana, are you still with me?
Of course I am. I'm walking this journey with you.
I know, that's right. Listen, I hope you don't mind, but I specifically decided I wanted to keep you up here with me as long as you would stay. So that's why you've been here with me.
I'll be here. I don't sleep at night. I sleep during the daytime. So as long as you're on here, I'm on here. Because I want to see you make it. I want you to do good. I want you to do good.
That means a lot
You
to
do
me.
good, we'll do good.
We will. We're gonna figure this out together. I mean that. I genuinely believe that when I say that we are gonna figure this out together. Thanks for the heart hands, Eve.
I got faith in you. We're gonna do this.
What do you have for the people? What are your last words?
My last words: don't lose faith. As long as you hope, anything's possible.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't lose the faith. And we need some humanity.
Yeah.
Nobody cares anymore for their neighbor. And that's horrible. That is horrible.
Yeah.
I came through the 80s and the 90s. If you didn't have all of your rent money, you could call me. And you didn't have to borrow it. I helped you.
Yeah.
Because I never knew whether or not I was going to need somebody help.
Yeah.
Now, we want your rent money and half of your organs.
Mm.
And we don't care if you ain't got no formula for that baby. We don't have no humanity.
Yeah.
And that's why I say if you can make it work, I'll walk that journey with you.
Yeah. I'm gonna share again. I listen. You have me in a vulnerable spot right now, and I don't appreciate you doing this to me. But I'm gonna
It
share
ain't nothing
something
but
else
the
with you.
love.
Yeah. I'm gonna share something else with you. A couple of weeks ago, and the people closest to me know this. One reason why I have been, not necessarily around TikTok like I've been, but a couple of weeks ago, like some really wild stuff happened, and I felt like I was in a place to take on a responsibility that was given to me, and it's not something that I necessarily wanted to do, but it's something I felt like was important to do. And I went through what I tried to, or what I thought would be best to actually be beneficial to everyone, right? And then something happened that made me pretty much not only question humanity, right? But pretty much I wanted to give up. Like I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I don't understand people. I don't understand hate. I don't understand why people are the way they are, right? And I went through a moment where I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Like people, I don't understand why people have to be evil. I don't understand why people have to be hateful. I don't understand why people can't love and take care of each other. And I pretty much got to the point where I said, I feel like I need to wash my hands of this. Like I can't be the person that tries to help people when the world is so evil and people are actively trying to harm each other. And that's where I was, right? And that's why it was so hard for me to be here and to go live and to stare down my screen and to talk to people. And I thought that I was just gonna walk away and give this up. Like I legitimately said, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. And the more time that I set away and talk to my wife and the people that are the closest to me, and then I took a whole step back and I looked at things that are happening around this world, around this country, and I felt that sense of responsibility, that sense of like, I can't give up. I can't just say I'm going to throw my hands up and walk away, because there's too many people that need help, that need love, that need support. And like what I just said to Erica just now, like we have a responsibility, and I'm gonna hold up my end of responsibility. So you're right. I gotta like I'm gonna lean into that humanity, humanity, because at this point we got.
But you do understand if God gave you a calling, there is no walking away from that.
I know people keep saying that all the time. I don't like. I've been hearing that all my life. I genuinely like. Yeah, I know.
And
I know.
I mean, so you took a walk around the corner is what you're telling me. Because there was no walking away.
Yeah.
All you did was took a walk around the corner.
I did, and I had a couple of drinks in the meantime as well. That's so.
I can't begrudge you that.
Yeah.
You had to do what it do.
Yeah.
But it brought you back to where you're supposed to be. I'm sorry to have to be the one to tell you for the 99th time.
Yeah.
When you call, you have to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
You can only send it to voicemail so many times.
Yep.
And you don't walk through all that brimstone for a reason, baby.
Yeah.
I tell you what.
I believe it.
I bet you if you close your eyes in a quiet space, ask grandma what to do.
Yeah. I love my grandma so much. I do.
She love you. She love you.
Listen, Miss Nana, I you know what, you and I love you, but I don't appreciate you coming up here and making me be vulnerable. Like I was not expecting to feel my feels tonight. But I I appreciate you so much. Genuinely, I really mean that. Thank you.
Considering that when I came across you, I was getting ready to go off because I hadn't seen you in so long. I said, "Oh, Santana, let me see what he's talking about." And I on him something in my soul said, "This is where you were supposed to come tonight."
Yeah.
You needed that push, and I'll give it to you.
Yeah, no, listen, I think that every once in a while we all need each other, right? And things can be a little bit wonky, but I definitely believe in community. I believe in each other. I believe in what we are trying to do, and I think everything's gonna be good. So
This is what we do, Santana. You know what we do.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And whenever you need me to be on here with you, all you gotta do is send for me. You know how this works.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for coming up here tonight.
You're welcome, baby. Call me when you need me.
Absolutely. You have a good night.
Love you.
I love you more.
Drop me.
Av, I'm so sorry to hear that. Av, I am legitimately sorry to see what you just said in the chat. I legitimately, I really hope things are gonna be okay. I know that's got to be a tough situation. Hopefully you can find a little bit of solace in the family that we have here, the community we have here, because you know, we love each other and we're here to support each other. So please reach out if you need us. Please reach out if you need us. Guys, listen, I got to get out of here because it is t-shirt time. I am 9 minutes over, and yeah, it's been an interesting night, guys. I legitimately, I'm super excited that people really sniffed out what I had on this background. I think that the conversation went better than expected for multiple reasons. Kay, I don't know if you heard the part because I know you had to step away, but Kenneth is no longer allowed on the live at all, period. Not just this, but sparring or whatever, because yeah, I Kenneth is disingenuous and I can't do Kenneth anymore just because of who he is. You heard that? You heard? Yeah. So, but no, like overall, I'm really happy with this first night. Legitimately, I'm really happy with this first night. We're going to be doing sparring. I'm sorry, we're going to be doing late nights again tomorrow and Wednesday. And for people that are going to be joining us, like you will get another opportunity to actually be able to join this conversation. But for the next couple of nights, guys, I need everyone to know for a fact that if you come to this live, if you come up on this panel, we're talking solutions. Like we set the table today, we set the table. It's time to start eating. We have to start talking about solutions. The one thing that I want us to make sure that we're doing moving forward on all of my lives, we're not just complaining. I don't want to just complain about things anymore. I don't want to complain about things. I don't want to just say, this is bad, that's bad, woe is me, all of this other stuff. Like, it's time for us to figure it out. So if you're going to be in this space and you're going to join my panel, you better have some solutions because I'm going to start holding people's feet to the fire. Just so you guys know, fair warning, fair warning. Anywho, we're going to get out of here, guys. Thank you all. Thank you all. Is there anyone on? Is anyone on? Is anyone on? I don't know if there's anyone on. I can't see if there's anyone on, but go find somebody to raid. Go find somebody to raid. Raid somebody, raid everybody. Matter of fact, raid everybody. And Allison's on. Let's go raid Allison. Can anybody grab Allison's at? Let's raid Allison. If anybody can grab Allison, let's drop Allison's at. Let's raid Allison. Love me some Allison. Am I running for office? I don't know. Ask my wife. If you guys want me to run for office, then if you guys can convince my wife, I'll do it. That's your assignment. If you guys can convince my wife that that I should run for office, if you guys can convince her, then look, she put in the chat no. And not my decision. If you guys can convince my wife, then I'll do it. But she just said no. W's in the chat for Mark for the last minute dono. Mark sent a $10 donation saying, you are informative, respectful, and educational, not to mention a leader. I will walk with you. Thank you, Mark. You are freaking amazing. You are far too kind. Thank you so much for that donation, and even more so for those kind words. Yeah, my wife said no. So I don't know. Anyway, guys, we're going to get out of here. Thank you all for the likes, the taps, the shares. Thank you all for being here. Go raid Allison, Santana raid, Santana raid. I love you all. And as always,